listeners tuned our way right around the world for this FA Cup fourth round tie. This is 5 Live from the BBC and BBC World Service, the race ground. And I'm sure you know, everyone will have heard the story, but Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney, Hollywood stars, television stars in America, they've come in, they've spent the money, they have turned this club around and they've made them believe. They missed out in the playoffs to come up to the top 4 tiers of the Football League last season. They hope to do it this time riding high, and now today a little diversion, just something different. I mean, this will make a great couple of series, a couple of episodes, I'd imagine, for their Disney series, Stephen, but they couldn't have wanted a better story than this.
Oh no, it's absolutely amazing for them. Like I said, the form they're in, the way the club is progressing, it's great, but then to throw this on top, it's like a little cherry on top. If they can come in and take this, it just leads off in a different direction. Like I said, an angle, an episode or two for the documentary, but here we go.
We're about to get started. Sheffield United in white will play from left to right as we look down. They've got a line of players on the halfway line. As if it's going to be the charge of the Light Brigade here, right from the kickoff. They've got to try and quell the enthusiasm of this Wrexham crowd, who've been like a coiled spring ever since the draw for the fourth round was made. Inside the centre circle, James McAtee, who's a young kid on loan from Manchester City, and he's going to be the player to get things started. He's in familiar company with Tommy Doyle with him. Doyle's also on loan from Manchester City. He's a player who's played in the Premier League, the Champions League, the League Cup, and this competition, the FA Cup, for Pep Guardiola. So Tommy Doyle is clearly a youngster that City have high hopes for. He's been sent out to Sheffield United for the experience, and we are underway as Oliver Norwood plays it forward, a man who started his career at Manchester United. The ball cleared away by Elliot Lee up into the Sheffield United half. Wrexham in the red shirts, white shorts and white socks, and it does feel a rather dulled atmosphere now that bright sunshine has dipped away. The floodlights here, compared to Premier League standards, Stephen, a very weak wattage, but you know, there's enough sparkle, there's enough stage spotlight on this game. It doesn't really need much more.
It is, yeah. I don't think they've warmed up quite yet, have they? They just come on, and there is a dullness in it since that sun has gone behind. But yeah, game just kicking off. It's almost very Hollywood. It's almost like a Hail Mary play from Sheffield United. The whole team lined up, ready to make a dart down the right hand side from the kickoff.
Corner to Sheffield United inside the opening minute. First set piece of the game. Ball has been placed by Tommy Doyle, who we mentioned. Here he comes, short run up, right footed delivery, headed in, they've scored after a minute. Sheffield United score. Oliver McBurney back in the team after injury. His first start for Sheffield United since November, and this doesn't happen in Hollywood with any lack of frequency. Is there to be the rocky comeback for Wrexham, because they're on the canvas from the get-go? 60 seconds played, Wrexham 0, Sheffield United 1.
It's not even a really intricate set play. It's whipped into the near post. McBurney gets across his man and he fires the head in, past the guy in the post, past the goalkeeper. You know, they'd be absolutely kicking themselves if they'd given a goal away. That's simply that easy this early in the game. You know, maybe it's got a sparking reaction, but it's really poor defending from Wrexham. They just give a free header in the near post area. No one near McBurney. Decent delivery in, and he powers into the back of the net.
9 goals in the championship this season. Ollie McBurney celebrates his return to the starting lineup with a goal here that has tempted to dampen the mood. Wow, a minute played, Wrexham behind already, no VAR or anything like that. There does seem to be a little bit of a hold-up as we wait to get back underway. There's a Sheffield United player who's receiving some treatment after the scramble for the ball in the lead-up to the goal. So while we've got a delay here, let's get an update from the cricket and join Kevin Howells.
It's all over. 343 runs, not enough. A 5-wicket victory for South Africa in Bloemfontein. 5 balls left of the game. Van Booma scoring 109. It's 5 straight defeats for England, now the World Cup holders. And the series versus South Africa lost with a game to go.
And still waiting for the game to get back underway here. Let's go and check up with Ronnie Forsyth.
33 minutes gone here at Tannadice between Dundee United and Celtic. Still scoreless, a considerable improvement on what United experienced last time Celtic were here when they were beaten 9-0. And the nearest Celtic have come is Kyogo and Jota with shots that have been beaten down by Berigiti. And Stephen Fletcher putting a header onto the roof of the Celtic net, coming close for Dundee United. Scoreless.
Thanks very much, Ronnie. So, Wrexham 0, Sheffield United 1. Inside a minute, and the leaders of the National League are finding out just the calibre of opponent that they're up against here. I mean, there's early goals, Stephen, there's early goals. I would reckon maybe 4 Wrexham players had touched the ball, maybe, possibly only 3.
Had a push, like I said, it was a long ball down to the start off with the cook-off. They got into the box, won themselves a corner, but it was just, there was a lack of concentration, was there, really early on. Decent ball in, not loads of pace on it, but he just makes a really good run. McBurney gets across his man, heads it. It's a free header, and you know, guy in the post can't, and the keeper is passing before he can even dive, and they're going to be really disappointed that someone in the near post area just doesn't go and head that away, because it was a low trajectory on the cross.
We still haven't restarted. There's a long delay here, and Paul Heckingbottom is looking frustrated about it. It looks like there's going to be a substitution and a change made already. Jordan Tunnicliffe, he's going to have to come off for Wrexham, and they're rapidly trying to scramble to get a replacement ready. So 1-0 down after a minute, and you lose one of your starting central defenders. Jordan Tunnicliffe, former West Bromwich Albion player. He was involved in an FA Cup giant killing 2 years ago. He was in the Crawley team that beat Leeds in round 3, scored in that game, but don't think he's touched the ball in the match, and he's had to go off injured. I mean, well, they write the scripts very dramatically in Hollywood, and the writers have been on overload on this one. You can just imagine the Disney TV show, Ryan and Rob, difficult start to the game after a minute.
Yeah, literally the writers are going full pelt down now, but it's great to watch Sheffield United come to a ground like this, and they're not mixing it, they're just putting the ball in behind, they're firing the channels, they're playing them at their own game, making them be turned and playing it. It's so early in the game, but you see Oliver Norwood is just hitting balls over the heads of the fullback and pressing Wrexham back.
Max Cleworth has come on, 20-year-old Welsh defender, 13 appearances this season in the National League. He did start the win over Coventry in round 3. He's a real local lad, joined Wrexham as a 12-year-old. And he's on now against Championship Sheffield United, who've got wind in their sails thanks to that early Ollie McBurney goal. Sheffield United paid £17 million a few years ago to sign McBurney from Swansea. This is the calibre that Wrexham find themselves up against today. Here's John Egan bringing it over the halfway line. Bogle, left-footed ball forward to McBurney, who tried to flick it on, but he's unable to pick out the pass to Ahmed Hodge, and it goes out for a throw into Wrexham, who still haven't put a pass together in the game so far. They've been absolutely dumbstruck by the rattling start they've received here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another injury,
yeah.
Aaron Hayden's down.
I know, it's, you know, for the first injury comes from just, I think, 2 players end up off the pitch into the hoardings, they're down, and now Aaron Hayden's down, holds them, and he's gone down without any contact. He's just set down the ground, so this is a worry if they're going to lose another defender this early on in the game.
Deary me. So all the build-up, the bottle of fizzy drink was shaken, and Sheffield United just whipped the top off it right at the start of this game. 1-0 ahead, thanks to McBurney. One central defender who's already left the field, and another one, Aaron Hayden, who's receiving lots and lots of treatment. Hayden, a player who's in the Chelsea Academy as a kid. His career properly started at Wolves. He's played at Carlisle in recent years and joined Wrexham at the start of last season. He's been a regular all campaign long. He's played in all but 2 of Wrexham's league games, and well, this, you know, to lose 1 is unfortunate. To 2 would be a real travesty for Wrexham, and he's not back up on his feet yet.
Yeah, it'd be hard to come back if it, you know, using 2 defenders, central and pivotal. But what's going to be really interesting with this game is both teams play a very similar shape, and Sheffield United have been doing this for a long time. That the back 3, the wing backs, and they do it as good as any team you've seen for a long time. Wrexham probably don't come up against teams as often that play the same shape as them, and they're going toe for toe and all over the pitch.
So Hayden's come to the sideline. They'll hope to get him back on. No obvious substitute being prepared, so at the very least he's going to try to return to the fray. Throw in on the left-hand side, Callum McFadzean, who's a former Sheffield United player, so he's up against a few familiar faces here. Ball goes out of play for another throw into Wrexham, this time inside the Sheffield United half. They've not been this far up the field, Wrexham, in the game so far. We've reached 8 minutes now. We've actually had very little game time because of the the goal and the injury delays, plural, that we've had in the early stages here. But now a chance for Ben Tozer, who's a bit of a long throw specialist, and he's going to launch this in, arches his back, spins it towards the 6-yard box. McBurney, who shows he's got good defensive aerial attributes as well as goal scoring ones, rises to head it away, and the ball goes out for a Sheffield United throw. Right full back position for them. That Ben Tozer throw is a real weapon, but bad news, Aaron Hayden's down again. He's in trouble.
Yeah, the trajectory he gets on the throw, it's almost Rory Delapes fires into the box. It's in a decent area, but Sheffield United have got all their men marshalled. They're physical, and they have a player in front of that, the last man of attack, and they clear it well. But Hayden's down. I think he's pointing to his hamstring, and you know, if you go down with your hamstring this early in the game, you're going to struggle, I think.
Yeah. Well, this is remarkable, really, to concede a goal within 60 seconds, to lose Jordan Tunnicliffe in that incident, and then as soon as play restarts, for Aaron Hayden to be injured. And James Jones is getting ready to come on, a former Crewe and Lincoln player. He scored in the FA Cup for both of those teams in the past. He's not missed a single game in the National League this season. He's a midfielder, and I wonder if injuries to two central defenders is going to force Phil Parkinson into a little bit of a rejig, being 1-0 down so early as well. Might they be about to abandon early defensive notions to be a little bit more on the front foot? We'll see how things settle in, but for now, warm applause around the racecourse grounds for Aaron Hayden, who is, well, he is so dejected. Look at his face. He's like a boxer leaving the ring, having been put down. He looks devastated.
And you would be devastated. These are the games as a player when you're playing like non-league, to come up, you want to pitch yourself against teams like Sheffield United where you can show your calibre and your quality, and to have to go off this early, that would be devastating for him.
So James Jones about to come on, second substitute they've had to make already, and this is they'll actually be limited now in the changes they can make later on in the game, unless they make a mass substitution at some stage. But two occasions of a substitute being used inside the opening 10 minutes. They are not doing it the easy way, Wrexham. They trail by the goal to nil here. The early goal from Ollie McBurney, if you're just joining us here on 5 Live, and the World Service from the BBC. Ben Tozer, the last standing defender who started the game for Wrexham, gives an early touch to Cleworth, who'll send it back, and the ball is cleared up to the halfway line. There's an awkward fall onto the ground for Tommy Doyle, but there's no foul. Play will continue. Wrexham have it on the halfway line with Jones, who's just come on. James Jones, who captained Wrexham for the first time against Altrincham last week. And Tozer gives it out to the right-hand side, and the ball is played forward by Anthony Ford. That's a good ball. In front to Paul Mullen. Goalkeeper comes out and misses it. Mullen goes down. He wants a penalty. All the Wrexham fans around us are on their feet, but nothing doing with the referee, Dean Whitestone. He waves play on. First attack that Wrexham have made of the game. First time they've gotten anywhere near the penalty area, and now the ball goes dead, and Mullen runs over to the referee to roar his protest, and you hear the boos in the background.
Yeah, it was. It's a great ball forward by Ford. He just pings it over the head of the defenders and allows Mullen to run onto. He gets there first, and the keeper comes out, but I'm not too sure where there's that much contact on it. He goes down quite easy, and the ref just plays on. He's well covered by the Sheffield defenders. Egan's around covering, and he's not going to get to the ball afterwards, but there was a chance there. If VAR was in operation, you think maybe that'd be looked at.
As it is, we play on. Wrexham 0, Sheffield United 1. That sort of early attack, that penalty appeal, that's the start Wrexham wish they had in the game, rather than picking the ball out of their own net. Ollie Palmer, good control for the big tall number 9. Lays it back to James Jones. They're trying to get back on the bike here, trying to get pedalling again, Wrexham, after that crash start. There's possession with Tom O'Connor now, who I think is the one who's dropped back into the defence since the arrival of Jones. He's going to operate on the left-hand side. Ball forward, in front of Palmer. Into the penalty area goes, challenged by John Egan, who puts it out for a throw-in. Now we're hearing the Wrexham roar.
It is unbelievable. As soon as they get into the opposition half, the crowd, the decibels just go up, and Toes is going to take a corner in. But that was actually good play from Wrexham. They played along initially, and then they picked a couple of nice passes. One little ball in behind for Palmer to chase onto, and Egan could do nothing but put out for a throw-in, which is in a really decent area for Tozer.
So, throw-in again gives Tozer the opportunity. This one's closer to the byline, about 10 yards or so. He flings that in, flicked onto the front post. Out comes the goalkeeper, uncertain, and then they can't turn it in. It's an attempt that flashes away and off target. But after that really disappointing start, Wrexham have not allowed their heads to drop. Tom O'Connor wasn't able to turn it in, and you know, he's already scored in this cup run. O'Connor, he's got 3 goals in his last 5 games in all competitions. He just couldn't swivel his body to turn and keep that shot on target, but much better from Wrexham.
Yeah, much better. Great again, trajectory on the throw in and really flat. They can't get the first contact this time. Sheffield United opens up to the back post.
Down goes O'Connor. He's been fouled by Jayden Bogle. Free kick to Wrexham. Midway inside the Sheffield United half. It's just down below us. Elliot Lee has placed the ball, a player who started at West Ham as a kid. He actually made 1 FA Cup appearance for West Ham in the past. It was as a substitute at Old Trafford of all places against Manchester United. That was a decade ago. Here he is playing for Wrexham in round 4. 1-0 down already against Sheffield United. And Elliot Lee takes the free kick high, hopeful, into the penalty area. McBurney can't get off the ground. Looked like he might have had a little push there, McBurney, on Max Cleworth, the substitute, the defender who's come on, but the referee was happy for play to continue. And Sheffield United cleared away down the other end, and Wrexham will regain possession.
Yeah, another decent ball in again. Clearwood just can't get a clear head on it. He's trying to get the foul, but they've reacted really well, Wrexham, to having 2 defenders going off. Now the crowd are growing, they're getting into it, and they're playing into percentage balls into the box.
You know, I'm convinced there is an issue with the floodlights here, and I know it's, you know, it was spring is beginning to spring around the country, and we're beginning to see slightly longer evenings. But 4:30 kickoff, you do need floodlights, and it doesn't feel like they're onto the proper illumination here. And I'm sure it'll be causing a bit of havoc for the television cameras, but the game continues. Low ball into the penalty area from the right-hand side for Wrexham. John Egan is well positioned, and he clears it away towards McBurney, who can't make it stick. Wrexham play much, much better now. It's impressive, actually, given the disappointing start that they've had. Oliver Norwood regains possession for Sheffield United. Back to the edge of the penalty area. John Egan to his right-hand side to Ahmed Hodzic, and he will come at long strides up to the halfway line. He's got options on both sides. He rolls it to Tommy Doyle on the right wing, and then back in field again to Norwood. Norwood, who is the quarterback of the team. He sits deep, but he likes to spray the passes around. Egan up to the halfway line once again, and back to his left-hand side to Chris Basham, who is Sheffield United's longest serving player. Ahmed Hodzic, low ball up to the feet of Daniel Jepson, and he can't control because Tozer was breathing down his neck. Wrexham get it back. They clear their lines, but they don't hold on to it for very long. The ball comes back to Jefferson once again as Oliver Norwood over to the far side of the pitch from us, where Ben Osborne is in position, and we can go for an update to Dundee.
And it's Dundee United 0, Celtic 0 still, although at Tannadice we're into injury time, and it looked as though we had a penalty kick to Celtic. Mark Birighitti, the United goalkeeper, came flying out of his goal to punch the ball clear and flattened Kyogo. After a very long VAR check, it was decided no penalty, so United survived, goalless.
Thanks very much, Roddy. Livingston 0, Hearts 0 earlier on today. And in the FA Cup, Brighton have beaten Liverpool again, having done it recently in the Premier League. Brighton Hove Albion 2, Liverpool 1 in the lunchtime kickoff. Stoke are through. They've beaten Stevenage by 3-1. This is the 4th round of the FA Cup. This is 5 Live on the World Service on the BBC. We're at the Racecourse Ground, where Sheffield United scored after a minute. And they've got a throw-in attacking position down the right-hand side. Jayden Bogle, who scored in the 3rd round win over Millwall, will take the throw and immediately receives the ball back again. Gives it to Ahmed Hodzic. He's 10 yards outside the penalty area. Little gap in front of him. Might have taken on a shot. He drilled it in low too powerfully to the feet of Jefferson, who wasn't able to control. And Wrexham were able to clear it away up towards the top scorer, Muller. Very well dealt with by the defender, Basham. Basham picks out a nice ball to Tommy Doyle in the midfield, and here's Jefferson, and out comes the goalkeeper. Good save. Mark Howard gambled there. If Jefferson had got there first and chipped it over him, the goal would have been unguarded, but Howard, the goalkeeper, comes out and makes a very good save.
Yeah, Howard did really well, but Jefferson just gets it wrong, doesn't he? He's trying to think it over him. Howard makes the decision, goes down early, and Howard tries to think it over him, but just doesn't get the chip on it, and it rolls right into his body. But it's brave goalkeeping and an early decision from him.
Yeah, I think the goalkeeper a little bit got away with one there. Mark Howard, who came through as a kid at Arsenal. He actually, as a 17-year-old, played in Martin Keown's testimonial as a young Arsenal player. He's been at a whole host of clubs over the years, but Sheffield United are one of them, and he's up against his old team today, playing in goal for Wrexham, wearing old green, away to our right hand side as the ball is cleared away by Max Cleworth up over the halfway line. John Egan with a firm header, and Tommy Doyle stretches, flicked on by McAtee, the two young players on loan from Manchester City. And now McBurney comes to the edge of the D, gives it to the outside of the right boot. McAtee shoots, and it's blocked away by Cleworth for a corner. That was a good patient build up by Sheffield United, and they win themselves a corner, and it's half time at Dundee, and back to Roddy.
And it's Dundee United 0, Celtic 0. Remember last time Celtic were here, it was 9-0 to them at full time. No danger of that at the moment, though they did hit the post through Hatate and then had what they thought was a sure penalty denied after a VAR check. So at half time, Dundee United 0, Celtic 0.
Thanks very much, Roddy. Corner hasn't been taken yet. Doyle has placed it. Tommy Doyle, who's both his grandfathers played for Manchester City, and both of them won the FA Cup together in 1969. He was no fear of him becoming a Manchester United player. He's just waiting for the signal to take this, the player on loan from City. And in fact, it's he who's delaying it. He's carefully placing the ball, and Wrexham fans are going crazy that they feel he's wasting time with only 19 minutes on the clock. I think he's saying that the ground is uneven there around the quadrant where he's trying to place the ball to take this corner. Here it comes, rolled in low. McBurney had sprinted out. They tried a little reverse move and it doesn't work, and Mullen will pick it up for Wrexham, but all he's done there is given it to McBurney. He tried a back heel, ball floated into the penalty area. McAtee with a little volleyed back heel, but he can't clear it away, and Wrexham struggling to fully clear their lines here. They should do now, with Mullen running up to the halfway line, flicks it out to the right hand side where Anthony Ford is coming forward with those yellow boots, gets to the edge of the penalty area. Mullen's dropped deep to the edge of the box. Ford doesn't see him, sends it across. It's actually a very good delivery, which Medolic has to put out for a corner. That was a good, powerful run by Anthony Ford down the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's a wonderful cross by Anthony Ford. No team out in mind, not really well. He's technically very good in those areas, but he puts a great cross into that far post. Just can't on the end of it, forces them out for a corner.
Corner will be taken on the left-hand side. Callum McFadden has placed it down there. Wrexham have committed a lot of bodies forward. In fact, it's Luke Young who's going to take the corner kick. Here it comes, right-footed, in on the goalkeeper, comfortably held onto by the goalkeeper. Adam Davis makes the save, wearing all yellow. Away to our left-hand side, they try to put it down the goalkeeper's throat there, and he dealt with the pressure very well. Long clearance, up over the halfway line. Header one at the back by Ben Tozer. And then it's played on by James Jones, off an opponent and out for a Wrexham throw-in, far side of the pitch. From us, 71 league places between them. Sheffield United second of the championship, Wrexham top of the National League. Two clubs who were beaten in their respective playoffs last season. They're used to going into every game, these two, expecting to win. Sheffield United with a brilliant start, the goal for Ollie McBurney. Here he is in possession, playing it on to Daniel Jefferson up over the halfway line, and the defenders are backing away from him. Jefferson into a shooting position, well saved by the goalkeeper. Howard puts it out for a corner. He didn't quite tuck it in the corner, but he kept it low and it was powerful, and it needed a quick reaction for the goalkeeper. Stephen Kelly.
Yeah, it's a great driving run from Jefferson. He's just happy to take the defenders on, open his legs up, show that pace, and as he takes it such a way, he just drives it back across the goalkeeper. To be fair, Howard does well to get down. It's close enough to him, not in the corner, but he gets a good strong hand to it and pushes it out for a corner.
Difficult condition down low to the bodies, to the goalkeeper's right of his body, and he reacted well. Good shot from Jefferson, who, well, we know is a talent. 2 goals in his last 3 games. He's still a teenager. He got to play for Sheffield United when they were in the Premier League. Ball is cleared away after a weak corner. I mean, they did so well to score from the first corner, Sheffield United. The ones they've had since have been dreadful. Throw in to Wrexham. They take it quickly. Luke Young over the halfway line, sends it down the right-hand side. Mullen, the top scorer, into the penalty area, shoots it. Well, I think it was a cross, comes off a defender, and that's going to go out for a corner to Wrexham on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's a great quick break from Mullen, who just he wins the throw-in, but then gets out quickly, throws it to Young, continues his run and gets down the line. Looks like he might have picked up a little knock there, but it's really clever play from Mullen to get them going forward that quickly.
So they'll take their time now, Wrexham, over this quarter. I mean, there is this phrase in football that, and I don't know how true it is, Stephen, but people say you can score too early in a game. If that is true, and I'm not saying it is, but if it is, well, Sheffield United could hardly have scored any earlier inside the opening minute, and Wrexham will hope they've got long enough to try and get a footing back in the game. But it feels like a day that they've needed everything to go right, and that corner doesn't go right. The early goal has gone against them. McAtee attacks down the other end, and wonderful tracking back by Luke Young, who's run from one penalty area to the other to make that interception. The captain leads by example, and Wrexham breathe again.
Yeah, it's a sensational piece of defending. He's run the whole of 75, 80 yards the whole way back there, tracks the man and slides in just to knock it back to the goalkeeper.
Here's Oliver Norwood midway inside the Wrexham half, and a shot from a million miles out by Tommy Doyle, trying to catch the goalkeeper Howard unawares. Howard was able to palm it away. Cross will come in from Osborne on the left hand side. Ben Tozer gets ahead in it. Wrexham can't fully clear, and this is James McAtee once again. 7 or 8 yards outside the penalty area that Sheffield United attack, wearing all white shirts with black shorts and black socks. Norwood forward to the outside of his right boot to Bogle. Bogle's played a ball that he tried to dissect the defence, but he couldn't quite get it through. Deflected on its way, and Howard was able to come and clear it away. Now this is Ollie Palmer, halfway line, the big number 9. Gives it back into the midfield. Young. Some of the passing's been really good from Wrexham when they get a chance. This is James Jones. Over to Anthony Ford, and back into the middle again to Tozer, and Sheffield United able to fall back into a defensive formation.
Just looking, that was a decent shot from Doyle there. We're right behind it. It moved a lot, didn't it? So Howard had to be on his toes to put it out.
Loose ball picked up by Bogle in midfield. A few groans from Wrexham fans as the pass was given away. Tozer's reacted very well there. He was wrong-footed just for a moment. It went the wrong side of him, but he turned, didn't get flustered at all, and was able to help it back to the goalkeeper. Every little 50-50 challenge is being passionately objected to if it doesn't go Wrexham's way by the crowd at the moment. Here comes Chris Basham over the halfway line, back into Ollie Norwood, always looking up, always scanning the horizon, looking for passes. Picks out a long-range one to Bogle, who heads it on, and then Tom O'Connor playing back on the edge of his own penalty area, clears it away. Last touch comes off Bogle, throw in to Wrexham. They still trail by a goal to 0.
No, and it's become much more of an even contest, hasn't it? Wrexham are looking decent on the counter attack, holding the ball up well. Palmer making a nuisance of himself with the 3 centre backs.
It's time that Wrexham have made it to the 4th round in 23 years, hoping to make the 5th round for the first time in a quarter of a century. And Sheffield United, who have a very proud FA Cup history. They've won the Cup 4 times in the past. Mind you, all very much of the past. 98 years since Sheffield United's last FA Cup win back in 1925, as Ahmed Hodic plays it down the right-hand side. Bogle's offside. Flag goes up from the assistant Matthew Jones down there, and that's going to be a free kick to Wrexham. You take the opening 60 seconds out of it, Stephen, and you'd be saying, well, Wrexham are doing great, but the reality is they're 1-0 down, and they've had to make the 2 changes already. They're sort of hanging on, aren't they?
Yeah, they'd be kicking themselves conceding a goal that early from a set play. That's your bread and butter. You don't concede that. You know, that's where you have a man going and attacking the ball, so they'd be really disappointed, but they've reacted really well, especially with the 2 substitutes that have had to come on. 4 substitutes.
Here is Jones, one of the 2 substitutes who was forced to come on early. Anthony Ford has been dangerous every time he's been on the ball, running in, laying it to Mullen, tries to strike one on the edge of the D, and defender got right in his face. Jon Ahmedhovic, and he is able to clear it away down the right hand side to Daniel Jebison. Couple of step overs. Jebison trying to go around O'Connor. 2 defenders around him now. He's done well. Keeps the ball moving into Tommy Doyle. Right-footed cross into the penalty area. Jones rises for Wrexham, and he's pushed. And that's going to be a free kick to Wrexham, and a big cheer from the home supporters as that will be a free kick to Wrexham inside the penalty area. My eye's been drawn to a cloud in the sky, Stephen, that's been illuminated. It looks like a UFO up there. I mean, given the Hollywood special effects, I put nothing beyond what could happen today, but the dark cloud is hiding the sun, and we just see one cloud illuminated like an orange spaceship.
It's pretty amazing. One single cloud sultry in the sky.
It's that sort of a day in Wrexham. Ryan Reynolds is here, Rob McElhenney's here. They've gone 1-0 down inside a minute, but Wrexham doing okay since then, albeit with Sheffield United having had a fair few chances to double their lead already. Here comes Jones, midway inside the Sheffield United half, right hand side of the pitch as his team come forward, gives it to Anthony Ford. Ford, a former Wolverhampton Wanderers player, played for them in the Premier League in the past. Anthony Ford Now, low ball to the feet of Ollie Palmer. Back to goal, into the penalty area. Elliot Lee tries to turn into the box, and the defender stood his ground. Tommy Doyle, there was appeals that he'd committed a foul. Referee was close to it, says no. And Sheffield United are able to get it away.
Yeah, it's good defending from Doyle. He tries to spin him on the box. He just gets his tackle in, wins the ball cleanly, and then clears his lines. But Lee was, he's in a high position there. He's getting forward, trying to join with those attacking players, which is good. They're trying to get players around the box and play into their feet.
So the clock ticks on. 28 minutes played now. Throw into Wrexham, and that means Ben Tozer time. And he trots over it. Everyone knows what's going to happen now. Look at the Sheffield United defenders retreat. They're all walking backwards into their penalty area. They know that Tozer has got the distance to get this into the 6-yard box. He's about 10 yards barely outside the penalty area, left-hand side. It's an enormous throw to get it as long as he's going to try here. Here it comes from Tozer in towards the penalty spot area. John Egan does well jumping and wins it in the air. And then Bogle strong. Now he's gone down holding his head. I didn't see the collision with his face. Maybe a trailing arm there. He seemed to control it. He goes down. And Ben Tozer's coming across offering apologies, so I think he has caught him with a flailing arm. That's a free kick to Sheffield United, 10 yards outside their own penalty area.
There was no intent in it whatsoever. Tozer's going with his foot and his arm was up, but it just catches him in the head, so he just feels the brunt of it, but it's gone down. But again, it's that first clearance, isn't it, from those throw-ins. Egan comes out and attacks it really well, but if they can make the first contact, then it causes carnage in the box when it's bouncing around.
We're not missing any action here. Bogle's still receiving treatment. It's 19 years since these sides last met in any competition. The last time was in the League Cup, 2004. Sheffield United beat Wrexham 2-1. Andy Gray and Phil Jagielka scored the goals back then. And this is the only second ever FA Cup meeting of Wrexham and Sheffield United. The first one was won by Sheffield United, won comfortably 5-1 back in the early 1980s. But Wrexham, having been rocked by that very, very early Ollie McBurney goal, have regained some composure in the cup tie. And you've got to credit them, 71 league places between them with that rocky start. Wrexham have not let this these accumulation of unfortunate events overawe them. The heads have remained up, the body language is still really positive.
No, yeah, it hasn't changed their outcome or their outlook on what the game is about for them. They're still going about it the right way. They're still trying to play the style of football they want, and again, when they get the ball into those forward areas, into Palmer and into Mullen early, they look a threat, they look dangerous. The wide players have put in some decent crosses as well, and they're industrious in the way they go about it, but it's effective.
Yes, Bogle still receiving treatment there for the knock to the face, as we wait for play to get back underway here at the Racecrown ground, and a great excuse to listen to the singing of the Wrexham fans who are filling the Sunday afternoon air with their lyrics. And reminder that the Six Nations Rugby is getting back underway soon, and we will have the launch of the Rugby Union Daily tomorrow. In match weeks of the Six Nations, that comes out daily rather than weekly, with Chris and Hugo and Danny and Sarah. They'll have all the debate, the previews, the reaction of the big interviews over the next 6 weeks of the Six Nations. We'll get to hear from the likes of Warren Gatland and Steve Borthwick, Andy Farrell and Gregor Townsend, amongst others. They're all on tomorrow's launch pod, so subscribe to that on BBC Sounds, and that will be available for you tomorrow. So bloody nose for Bogle. He's being led off the pitch slowly, but you'd imagine he'll be back on in the not too distant future. Sheffield United can get play back underway, and we're over the half-hour mark now. Wrexham, the oldest club in Wales, the third oldest professional football team in the world, and they've been very excited about this day in the FA Cup fourth round. Can there still be a twist in the tail here? Wrexham for the moment trailing Championship Sheffield United by a 1-0. We're finally back underway. Davis clears it long into the Wrexham half. McBurney flicked it on, came straight back to him. He was about to try a shot the second time, but Elliot Lee leaned in, made that impossible. And then a confident header by Kelly McFadden back to the goalkeeper, Mark Howard. Stephen Kelly. Yeah, comfortable. Just McFadden just calms it down there, heads it back to the goalkeeper, allows them to go in the way. And can they take advantage of having an extra man on the pitch now for the next few moments while Bogle is off? 7 of the last 8 times that Sheffield United have come up against non-league teams in the FA Cup, they have gone through. The only one they lost on that run was to Barnet 4 years ago. Here's a chance. Mullen from a mile out. Wow, that was 15 yards, nearly 20 yards outside the penalty area. And he put the laces through it, Paul Mullen, who's been scoring from every conceivable angle this season. And it did dip, but not quickly enough, and over the crossbar it sailed.
There's a man full of confidence.
Wow.
Great little turn in the middle of the park to open himself up, and he drives forward and is extremely ambitious, but he catches it really well, and it just doesn't dip enough to cause the goalkeeper any problems, goes wide.
He's got 6 goals in 3 FA Cup games this season. He's got 19 league goals. He got a hat-trick on Boxing Day against Solihull Moors, a team that you watch quite a bit, Stephen. And he just, no matter where it comes, he'll think, I can shoot from here.
Yeah.
And he very nearly troubled the keeper.
I'm looking out and I'm thinking Anthony Ford is out wide screaming for the pass, and I'm thinking, get out there, get yourself in the box, but he has no intention on it. He just opens it up, and to be fair, it's a fair whack of the ball he gives it, and it's just a little bit off target.
He has played in the 4th round once before, Paul Mullen. I remember being at the game. He was in the Tranmere team that were beaten 6-0 by Manchester United a few years back, but here he is playing for Wrexham of the National League up against Championship Sheffield United. 1-0 to the visitors at the moment. Ball is cleared away by McFadden up over the halfway line. Header won by Basham. But Wrexham will get it back again. Well taken down by Ollie Palmer. Been really impressed with him, the way he takes it down and feeds teammates. It's very, very good to see. Ford has it now on the right hand side. Run ahead of him was made by Cleworth, who can't actually deliver the cross into the centre. Sheffield United try to clear it away. There's a misplaced pass by Ben Osborne, and that's the cheer. The mistake means that Wrexham remain on the attack. They've got another throw in for Tozer.
Again a great position for them, but they played the ball really, and you're right, Palmer, his hold of play and his layoff has been excellent so far in this match.
A little towel has been provided for Ben Tozer. Carefully wipes the ball so he can get a good grip on this, leans back against the advertising hoarding. He gets slightly shorter run up on that far side than he does here on the near side, just such as the shape of the ground. And the referee's coming in to lay down the law, and all sorts of pushing and shoving taking place inside that 6-yard box. Wrexham attacking the end, which is the building site. They're building a new stand there. There's a couple of yellow JCBs watching on. Here comes the throw in from Tozer. Low trajectory, plenty of power. Good header away though, out by Basham. Straight out to Tozer, who says, I could kick this in, but I'll do far more damage if it's a throw. And he waits and he allows it to trickle over the line. And now he takes the throw in quickly, launches it in again. And up jumping this time was Ahmedodic, and it goes out for the throw in on the far side. And Tozer gets a 3rd in a row. Here he's wasting no time. Here it comes into the penalty area again. Sheffield United can't get it out. Young tries the shot on the edge of the area, and he didn't have any time to steady himself, and it goes wide to the target and out for a goal kick to Sheffield United, who still lead here at Wrexham by a 1-0.
Yeah, 3 consecutive throws back to back from Tozer, all into really good areas. Sheffield United though getting the first contact, which is so important. John Egan not averse to going and heading the balls when he needs it, and a good height about him, so they're going to have to try and beat him in the middle of the park if they're going to try and get one of those in.
A long clearance down the field by Davis for Sheffield United. Bogle jumps with McFadden, and Wrexham should have won it back there, but excellent play by Jefferson to hassle Lyon. And Sheffield United are showing here that they've got plenty of grit themselves. They're really flinging themselves into 50-50 challenges. Ball goes out of play for a throw into Wrexham on the left-hand side, and Tom O'Connor will be the man to take. Start to the game as an anchor in midfield. He's now playing left-hand side of a back 3. Here comes Mullen again, flicking the ball forward, scampering after it, putting pressure on Chris Basham and forcing Basham to put it out for a throw. And is it Tozer time again? No, they take this one short. Take it to McFadden. Left-hand side of the pitch as Wrexham come forward. An attempted nutmeg by Elliot Lee, that was cheeky. And Norwood was able to meet it on the other side, and he puts it out, and it is another throw-in. This time Tozer says, I'll have it. His arms have recovered from that 3 in a row just a moment ago.
There's not many players you're going to see icing their elbows after matches, but Tozer probably will be.
So Tozer waves his arms. There's only 2 Wrexham players in the penalty area. There's about 8 Sheffield United players. Now They begin to arrive in numbers, and it's all just a decoy because it's thrown short by Tozer to Lee. Back out to Tozer on the left-hand side. Gives it to Elliot Lee once again. Little dink into the penalty area is clever. Now, can Palmer do something with this? Lee to help him again. Lashes it from the byline left-hand side. Mullen inside the penalty area. Almost on the end of a 1-2. That was so unfortunate. It was nearly played back to him by Tom O'Connor, and Sheffield United got away with that there as they clear their lines. This is very good stuff from Wrexham now. They're playing the better football as they have it midway inside the Sheffield United half. Anthony Ford lays it off. Mullen, left-footed shot this time, is on target, but into the chest of the goalkeeper, and it's a proper FA Cup game now.
Yeah, they're really getting into it. They're playing some really good football in and around the box. Palmer is pivotal to everything. Balls in the sphere, sticking, he's laying them off well, and Mullen there takes a shot on. Maybe he's a little bit greedy that time. It's a really speculative effort on his left foot, but Wrexham are just growing in confidence, and their passing is starting to get a little bit better in and around the area.
Absolutely. Sheffield United, who started this game so well, scoring inside the opening minute, but there's no doubt that they are being asked questions now by non-league Wrexham. And the wise heads in the Sheffield United ranks are realising this, so they're just slowing things down. A few passes around the halfway line. Basham here comes 10 yards into Wrexham territory, feeds Osborne on the left-hand side, back from McAtee, and it goes out for a throw-in, and Sheffield United makes some progress down the left-hand side.
So they're going to have to, Sheffield are going to have to manage the game, because as soon as the ball comes into their half, the fan, everything goes up, it goes crazy. You can see the atmosphere lifts, and the whole team gets a bit of a spark around them.
Osborne is going to take the throw in, and compared to the big run up from Tozer, this looks very sedate as he just stands and puts the ball above his head and takes a normal old-fashioned throw, gets it back again, crossing position on the left-hand side, 1-2 with McAtee. Good work from Ford to be right in his face and not allow any room to Ben Osborne here. And Wrexham are doing well to limit the space available for Sheffield United, and ultimately they send them back to the halfway line. Good roar from the Wrexham fans as they realise their teams has in fact forced Sheffield United from the edge of the penalty area at one end all the way back to the goalkeeper at the other. Davis goes long. Header one though at the back by Cleworth, and then the free kick is awarded for a foul on Elliot Lee. Free kick that's taken quickly to McFadzean, who played in a FA Youth Cup final 12 years ago. And here he is in the FA Cup, the fourth round proper. The ball played forward by Tozer. Bogle back helping out the defence, jumps well and wins the header for Sheffield United. And then this is Tommy Doyle. Back to Hodgich, who's given it away. Excellent pressure by McFadzean. There is wind in the sails of Wrexham at the moment, as the ball goes out of play, and that is going to be a throw-in. A throw for Wrexham on the left-hand side, and they are definitely going to call Tozer forward for this one.
I'm watching out. Mullen just stands still here. He's free. Tozer could just throw it to him. Sheffield United are too busy concentrating and getting the men to go back to the box. He just turns around. There was a free throw-in just to his feet, and into the box.
I believe there's a goal at Dundee United, but we will go there after this throw-in. Tozer is a real menace with these, and he's it's a decoy again. He's thrown it in short. Back out to Tozer. Chance to cross on the left-hand side. There's a whole host of players, both attackers and defenders, waiting inside the penalty area. Can Tozer get it in from here? He's holding it up well under pressure from Bogle, and now he's got a little bit of support. Wrexham are still on the attack here, left-hand side as they come forward. And James Jones turns away from the first defender, who was Jebison, but then can't beat Bogle, and eventually the ball goes out of play, and they just needed to get it in the mixer there, Wrexham, and the championship side Sheffield United will be able to clear. So goal at Dundee United playing against Celtic. Here's Roddy Forsyth.
52 minutes gone, and Celtic have at last breached the Tangerine defence. It was a deep cross from Moy, looked as though it was dropping out for a goal kick on the far side, and somehow Jota reached it to head into the net, and Celtic lead by a goal to nil after 52.
Thanks very much, Roddy. There's one fourth round FA Cup game tomorrow. It's Derby County against West Ham United, and then we'll have the draw for round 5. Chance for Wrexham. Ollie Palmer tries to strike a shot from the edge of the penalty area, blocks away off the defenders. Palmer, who runs back and wins the tackle in the midfield. It's like there's two Ollie Palmers on the pitch. He's everywhere.
It's amazing. Again, he's the one that instigates the shot, opens up. That's a really decent strike. Gets blocked by Egan, and then he's sprinting back to win off Doyle. Fantastic from him.
So here come Sheffield United again. James McAtee, nice composed, low centre of gravity diminutive midfielder on loan from Manchester City. As Ahmed Hodic to the right-hand side plays a little 1-2 with Norwood, and then a rather careless ball forward for the Bosnian will bounce into the Wrexham penalty area, and it's easily picked up by Mark Howard. You mentioned the floodlights earlier on. There's bright illuminations in that penalty area right to the right-hand side, and then by contrast, everything else seems much darker. As the ball is cleared by Mark Howard up over the halfway line. Egan won the header, but he couldn't direct it anywhere. Gave it straight to Palmer. Palmer's crossfield ball controlled well on the chest by Anthony Ford, and then the referee blows the whistle, and it's a free kick for a foul. Free kick to Sheffield United. They've taken it already. Norwood looks to bring it up to the halfway line. Rolls it back across to Ahmed Hodic. He's got Bogle available on the right-hand side. Comes in field of McFadden, who's tracking him all the way. Tried to play it forward, hit up Jefferson, who wasn't the intended target there, and it breaks down for Sheffield United. Wrexham get it back once more. Anthony Ford will clear up towards James Jones. Sheffield United win it. Wrexham crowd felt that Jones was fouled there. Play on, says the referee. Basham's up for joining the attack. Bogle popping up on the left wing here, and he's won a corner, is he? Yes, corner to Sheffield United on the left-hand side. They still lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, just a little bit better by Sheffield United. Bogle driving inside from the right wing back position, almost puts McAtee in, but then continues in that position, stays out there, finds himself in a great place, takes the man on in a one-on-one situation in the box and gets themselves a corner.
So the corner drags everyone back for Wrexham. They are leaving Paul Mullen on the edge of the box. Everyone else is inside the penalty area. And it's played in towards McBurney, who made a run towards the back post. He did well to slip his marker, but he then falls over what I think is a big loudspeaker or something, and it's on the ground just behind the goal area there, away to our right-hand side. And cheers from the Wrexham fans, but no danger from that corner kick.
Yeah, McBurney actually done really well. He found himself with loads of space. He just gets himself in a huddle and sneaks out the back of it. And again, they haven't marked him. They have to be careful. They don't want to allow another set play to get a goal or give them Sheffield United another advantage in this game, because they've got themselves back into it and they look like a team in the ascendancy, Wrexham.
Sheffield United leading by a goal to nil, scored by Ola McBurney. You can watch the video of that goal right now on the BBC Sport website. McFadden has possession on the left-hand side. You can watch this whole game right now on BBC television and the website. As Lee, challenged by Doyle, wins a throw-in. A throw-in for Wrexham on the left-hand side. And McFadden takes his time over and then throws it into Lee. Let's go back to Ruddy for side at Dundee United. Come back to Roddy at some stage. Ball crossfield over to the right hand side. Ford looks to control it. This is the right wing for Wrexham, trying to battle his way into the penalty area. He's done well, shrugged off two defenders. Cross was ever so slightly too low. Egan with a stooping header was able to clear it away. We're moving into stoppages at the end of the first half. 7 minutes to be added on. Down goes Mullen in the penalty area. No penalty kick. Sheffield United attack down the other end, and Howard comes out of his penalty area and he clears the ball away. He took a gamble there, but he got away from Jefferson. It's all very frantic at the moment. Into those 7 minutes now that have been added on. Let's try Ronnie Prasad again at Dundee United. Ronnie.
Dundee United 0, Celtic 2. A penalty kick after a VAR review found that Kieran Freeman had fractionally handled on the edge of the box. Aaron Moy took the penalty kick. 2-0 after 55.
Thanks very much, Roddy. Well, Wrexham aren't hanging about here. 1-0 down. Every time they get a throw-in or a free kick or whatever, they take it so quickly. They're trying to unsettle their visitors to the championship. And McFadden here wins a free kick against Bogle. Free kick to Wrexham, left-hand side of the pitch. We're into these 7 minutes of stoppage. I mean, if Wrexham could get an equaliser, Stephen Kelly, the roof would come off the stadium here. The coiled spring of a crowd are just willing something magical to happen here.
The roof almost comes off, like we said, every time they get into Sheffield United's half. But they're so feisty, they're so energetic, they're pressuring so hard, and this is a great chance to whip in a decent cross, keep it away from the goalkeeper, put into a dangerous area.
So it's going to be taken by Tom O'Connor. There's a line of players being held just outside the penalty area, left-footed, swinging towards that area, sits down for Leo. He caught it really well, but too many bodies in the way. Excellent technique from Elliot Lee to hit that full on the volley. He'll have been delighted with the cleanness of the contact, but just a forest of players between him and the target, and it was blocked away.
Yeah, it's a wonderful connection. You can see he's watching it the whole way onto his foot, connects with it really well. Blast, it looks like it's going to fly into that bottom corner, but just there's a host of bodies in the way.
Wrexham have averaged almost 3 goals per game this season. They've got 90 goals in their 34 matches in all competitions. Can they get one ahead of half-time here and send these teams in level of the break? I'll tell you, that would spook Sheffield United if they could. Free kick given though, and Norwood holding the ball just outside his own penalty area. Free kick for Sheffield United and a chance to clear their lines. It's been feisty. It's been played at a very fast pace. Right out of the traps, this game is entertained with that opening goal inside the opening 60 seconds. And now on the cusp of half-time, Wrexham will be increasingly feeling that they're not out of it yet. I'll be honest, Stephen, that opening 60 seconds, I thought, well, we probably should go home.
Yeah.
But this really isn't over yet, is it?
No, it shows the level of confidence that they have as a group, that to have to concede so early and have two centre-backs go off. We're in the first 6-7 minutes of the game, and then to be able to still be in a position where they look like they've got a goal and they've got a threat in them. They don't look like it's affected their shape or their style of play at all. You have to give so much credit to them.
Throw in for Wrexham on the far side. Sheffield United leading by a goal to nil at the racecourse ground. Jumping was little Ben Osborne, who's done well against the much taller James Jones there. And now chance for Sheffield United to maybe double their lead ahead of the break. Jebison lays it out to the left-hand side. Nice little pass by McAtee to pick out Osborne in the penalty area. His attempted cross is charged down by Cleworth, and that's going to be a corner to Sheffield United on the left-hand side. Stoppage time ahead of the break on 5 Live in the World Service in the FA Cup.
Yeah, good block there. Jebison, I think, for United has looked very lively. I think every time he's received the ball, he's been on the shoulder, he's picked up in deep pockets as well. He's willing to run at them. Looks like a very dangerous player. Scored
against Millwall in the 3rd round, scored the winner against Hull last weekend, Daniel Jebison. As the corner plays in, McBurney again trying to find some space in the back post, and a header in the end on target from Basham is saved by the goalkeeper, who pumps it long, looking for Mullen. Good distribution by Mark Howard. One defender, Bogle, he's immediately got through. Mullen into the penalty area, shoots, and it's saved. The angle was tight. Down in the penalty area, there's appeals for a penalty. It's the captain, Luke Young, who went down. No penalty. Sheffield United clear away. It's proper end-to-end. Jebison storming towards the Wrexham penalty area. Beats 2 defenders. Can't get away from the last of them. Tozer clears it out for a throw. This is proper end-to-end football. We might have been full of hype ahead of kick-off with the Hollywood connection, but it's a game that's living up to the billing, Stephen Kelly.
Absolutely. First of all, Howard's clearance out to his volley, out to Mullen, unbelievable volley, pass out to him, he wins it, runs in, gets through and goal, great strike, and then the clearance comes out and I think it could have possibly been a penalty. The other end, Jebison running straight down the line, looking really dangerous, it takes his eye off the ball last second as he goes to play the pass. It's end to end, it's flowing, it's so exciting.
Absolutely, Mullen. That's the first time that he's seen the whites of the goalkeeper's eyes. He went through the last defender there like he didn't exist. It was brilliant, and then the angle was tight. He had to take it on, but the goalkeeper was able to stand firm. Here come Wrexham again. They're enjoying their best spell of the game. Elliot Lee tries a little trick, and he's not able to get away from Jebison. Jebison said, "I'll take that, thank you." He attacks down the right-hand side and gets to the byline. Deep now in stoppage time at the end of the first half of the racecourse ground, and it's cleared away by Tom O'Connor. Can't quite get it all the way to the halfway line, though, and Sheffield United will come again. Ahmed Hodzic has it. 15 yards outside the penalty area that Sheffield United attack. Gives it to Tommy Doyle, whose cross is cut out at source, and that goes out for a throw into the visitors, who still lead by a goal to nil.
You can see it's frantic. The players, those chests going up and down, they're breathing, they're trying to get their energy back in. It's been brilliant to watch. Absolutely sensational spectacle with so few goals, but it's so entertaining.
1-0 Sheffield United lead. Ollie McBurney on his first start since November because of injury. He was delighted with the goal. You could see how much it meant to him as Norwood battles hard here to win back possession in midfield. So important for Wrexham not to concede a second before half-time now. McFadden clears it away. Controlled by McAtee. Bang on the edge of the circumference of the centre circle. That's a bad pass, and Palmer tries to pounce on it, and Basham has only been able to give it to Mullen. Here's the top scorer. Mullen into the penalty area. Down he goes. Free kick on the edge of the box. That was only inches from being a penalty. It's going to be a free kick inside the D. He pushed it beyond Norwood. He tried to barrel his way in. I'll tell you what, when Palmer and Mullen attack, they are grease lightning, the two of them. And Sheffield United can't cope.
Honestly, these three centre-backs of Sheffield United are going to feel they've been a game. Palmer flies into a tackle, then wins it, releases Mullen. Mullen is running straight down the throat of Egan. This is an international defender we're talking about, and he goes past him like he's that there. Mullen, Egan throws out a lazy leg. It looks like it's right on the line, and by my book, that probably should be a penalty. The ref doesn't give it. It's edge of the box stuff. It's a free kick. Great chance.
Remember, no VAR because it's not a Premier League ground, so they can't peruse the action replays. I think some of the Wrexham players say, well, look, if it's a foul, was Mullen about to score? Is that denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity? Probably a case to be made. But either way, it's a free kick here, which, if anything, in the football parlance is too close, because it's right on the edge of the penalty area. So difficult to get this over the wall and back down again. But you can bet your bottom Hollywood dollar that Wrexham are going to go for this.
Oh, they are. You almost have to go goalkeeper side, where you can see the goal, just fire it in and hoping he's going to make a step to go behind the wall, put him off guard. But it is a great chance to get a shot on target.
You say see the goal. I mean, there's this 9-man wall here. It's a wall of white shirts. As Mullen is having a word, Anthony Ford is trying to get in the conversation. Tom O'Connor is there as a left-footed option. Right on the cusp of half-time, a free kick for Wrexham. This is the first attacking free kick they've had in the game. Now, who's going to take it? It's Mullen, and he went for power, and the wall was brave, and it stands firm and does its job, and the ball ricochets out, and it's been kept in play as it by Young. Referee's blown the whistle for the break anyway. Wrexham have finished that first half on top. But it's Sheffield United who lead. Ollie McBurney's opening header inside the opening minute. But make no mistake, despite that disappointing start, Wrexham have picked themselves up off the canvas. And personally, I can't wait for the second half of this, Stephen Kelly.
Oh, it's been absolutely brilliant to watch. So end-to-end, entertaining, so much drama, ref making decisions, possible penalties, goal chances, goalkeepers making saves. It's been a fantastic first half, and Wrexham are just going from strength to strength going into this, and you feel the second half, if they come out like that, Sheffield United are going to have to be really at the game to keep them out.
Well. McBurney's goal the difference. Wrexham 0, Sheffield United 1. We hyped it up, Steve, but it's lived up to the hype.
Certainly has. Stephen Kelly, that was brilliant.
Oh, honestly amazing to watch. I'm just so glad I'm here to witness it, because you hear stories of games like this and you think, nah, it couldn't have been that exciting. It's 1-0, but it's been brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant. There's so much has happened. Wrexham, though, it looks like a so well organised drill. The fitness levels of these guys and the power and pace that they're showing to get around the pitch is phenomenal for a team that are playing non-league. Honestly, it's brilliant. The Sheffield United don't really know what's hit them at times.
A Wrexham fan has just walked past me and said to me, can you keep an eye on this ref? I don't know what he expects me to do. I've no idea what he expects me to do.
He thinks you're on comms to him, does he? Just you the VAR? Steve, do you think you're VAR?
Well, the thing is, and I'll say this for a start, Connor, there have been a lot of very hopeful penalty appeals.
Yeah, no, and absolutely. They are trying to play on the atmosphere, the crowd, the moment. I agree with you. I don't think there's been any stonewall penalty that's been missed here. And and honestly speaking, I think that was just outside the box rather than inside. But look, that's the job. If you're a non-league fan and you're up against a team in the Championship, your job coming here today is to scream for a penalty. Yes. If you think there is any notion at all. Been so impressed with Ollie Palmer and Paul Mullen, and we built them up before the game. The little and large, the 9 and the 10. Mullen's, he's playing like Romario down there. He barrel chest. He just goes through defenders like they're not there. The speed of it. And Sheffield United will be afraid to step up, because if he gets in behind, he's going to cause big problems in the second half.
One of the big reasons, Stephen, that Paul Mullen came to Wrexham is so he could be close to his family, and he spoke just the other day about his son has been diagnosed with autism, so it's a big deal for him to be back close to home. So he will want to be staying with Wrexham, but he should be playing, hopefully for his sake, with Wrexham, way higher.
Yeah, he's terrible as the Sheffield defence. He's absolutely causing so many problems. And I was just saying, he took on John Egan, who's an international defender we've seen for Ireland on a number of occasions, and went past him like he wasn't there. Egan had to throw his leg out to bring him down. Fortunately, he was outside the box. Was he last man? Could have been somebody else, but he has no fear. He does not sense fear when he gets the ball. He has one thing on his mind, and that is to go for goal. The directness of his play is absolutely frightening.
The long throw is frightening as well, Stephen. I wonder what that's like for a defender, because do you think that after a period of time, even though they haven't scored from one yet or really created a great chance from one yet, for a defender, every throw-in is like a corner. That must be draining.
Yeah, it is draining, and it's just the percentages, and it's about getting that first contact. You want to make sure that the person that is in front of the man you're marking goes and wins it, because if he misses it or there's a little flick in, the carnage that ensues afterwards when it's bouncing around the box. But a tactic I used to use when I was playing against Stoke was, at this second half of the game, I'd start picking the towels up as if I was going to take a long throw and slow the game down and then throw 4 yards. So they used to hate me for that when I used to go to Stoke. But it'd be interesting to see if Sheffield United use second half. But Toza's throw, the trajectory he gets are fantastic.
So we obviously kind of don't have monitors here, but I'm told that what they're saying on TV is, one, it was just outside the area when Mullin was fouled. And I agree with you. My first thought was, is that a clear goal-scoring opportunity? But his touch was just a little bit wide. That said, there's two factors there. It was close, wasn't it? Very close.
Look, these are the moments. A day like today, they're chasing the fairy tale Wrexham. They need little things like that to go their way. They've had the real killer blow, that Ollie McBurney goal, because it's so early. I mean, even 10 minutes in, and they'd all had a touch of the ball or something. But you can see that goal. In that incident, they lose one centre half. Then, before everyone's had a touch of the ball, they lose the other centre half. So they'll probably feel they're due a decision to go their way now, Wrexham. And also, let's bear all this in mind. In the second half, if they do get a little questionable 50-51 their way, well, maybe this one before didn't. So they might feel they've got it going. But look, I think VAR is something we discuss all too much. In a funny way, it does give us a bit of clarity on things like this.
And Stephen, have Sheffield United so far played the occasion pretty well?
Yeah, they have. They've done what they need to do. They've kind of resorted to, they've kept the ball when they can, and see that some of them have experienced heads are trying to slow the game down when they get it. They don't want it to be frenetic. And you see in the middle of the park, Norwood is just putting balls in behind. I think Jefferson in front is the one that's impressed me the most. Every time he's received it, he's been willing to run at him. He's looked real dangerous. Like Burnley back in the side, linking up well with him. And I think they've dealt with the situation really well.
Stephen, Connor, thank you very much for the time being. Wrexham 0, Sheffield United 1. It is dark down there, I can tell you. If we lose any more bulbs from the floodlight, we might end up with a spotlight. And if we do, it could yet be on Wrexham come the end of this afternoon. They have given their all. They have played really well, but they trail Sheffield United at the break. We'll rattle around as much reaction as we can, and we'll hear from Wrexham's own Robbie Savage ahead of 6:06, which follows us here at the Racecourse Ground. We'll do all of that after the news with Sarah Green.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Conservative MP Nadeem Sahawi has pledged to support Rishi Sunak from the backbenches, despite being fired as party chairman for a breach of the ministerial code. The Prime Minister ordered his ethics advisor to investigate Mr Sahawi after it emerged he paid a penalty to settle a multi-million-pound tax dispute. These voters in Mr Sahawi's constituency of Stratford-upon-Avon welcome the decision.
Well, I was really pleased, to tell you the truth. I think he should have resigned when it all came out. He doesn't lead by example.
I think he should have declared it. I don't think it's very good on the party or government, really.
There's people around here who can't afford to put clothes on their kids' backs or food on their table, and that he has mistakenly missed an error. It beggars belief.
2 men have been arrested on suspicion of murder after a man was hurt in Exeter last night. The victim, in his 40s, suffered a chest wound and later died in hospital. A third man and a woman are being questioned on suspicion of a fray. The Housing and Levelling Up Secretary, Michael Gove, says building regulations were faulty and ambiguous before the Grenfell Tower fire in 2017. Developers are going to be given 6 weeks to sign a government contract to remove flammable cladding found on their buildings. But David O'Leary from the Home Builders Federation says companies which manufactured unsafe cladding should also be forced to contribute.
UK house builders will now probably be paying something like $5 billion. The government is still asking for another $3 billion from the sector. We're now saying, why not look at these product manufacturers who the Housing Secretary says they're just too difficult to get to because they're predominantly overseas based. And we don't think that's a fair position to put the industry in.
At least 2 people have been rescued from the Channel this afternoon after a boat carrying migrants got into difficulty. Everyone has been accounted for after a search and rescue operation involving coastguards from both the UK and France. And the Scottish Prison Service has announced an urgent review of all transgender cases in its jails. It says it will put any movement on hold until the review is finished.
On BBC iPlayer.
We have turned this house into a proper home.
I love you, Stacey.
I am back with the team to sort your life out, tackling bigger challenges. This is the biggest shoe collection we have ever seen.
All that stuff, where was it in the flat?
Transforming families' homes.
This is looking so much better already.
It's going to be life-changing.
And restoring joy to their lives all in 7 days.
This is amazing.
More than we could ever imagine.
It's the start of my new life. Brand new Sort Your Life Out with me, Stacey Solomon. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Wrexham 0, Sheffield United 1 here inside the racecourse ground. The sun has long since come down and we're illuminated just by a few bulbs of the floodlights above us. Great second half in store on 85058. Michael says since going a goal down, Wrexham have been by far the better team. They need to tidy it up a bit. That final ball can still break the line. Already today, Kaoru Mitoma scored a late winner as Brighton beat Liverpool 2-1, knocking them out of the FA Cup. Lewis Duncan scored Brighton's equaliser. He says the result says a lot about the team.
Yeah, I think it shows the character, the courage we've got in the squad, and yeah, we weren't at our best today. Frustrating on the ball. I don't think we were slick enough, crisp enough, and yeah, we were giving sloppy passes away, which we haven't been doing lately, but we've got the fight in the team to show there that we can come back from being down against a top side.
So what about your goal? You meant it, of course. Lovely deft touch as that shot from Lamptey was heading wide.
Striker's instinct, eh? No, I tried to get out of the way of it, to be honest, but yeah, I haven't scored in a long time, so it was nice to get one.
And just tell us a little bit inside the dressing room, what sort of a character is Mitoma? Because he had such an influence on the game and he's been so good for you.
In the dressing room, quiet, shy, but nice person, works hard, don't stop working every day, trains hard, and yeah, he's a machine out there. His acceleration, his speed is crazy, and yeah, we're lucky to have him in our team.
Lewis Dunk, great talker there with Rob Noffman. League 2 Stevenage lost earlier today, 3-1 at Championship side Stoke City. Stevenage boss Steve Evans very critical of the referee, especially with a penalty decision that went against his side.
I don't know why we've not had a penalty. I don't know why Stoke don't go to 10 men, and I'll go and ask the referee. And then for him to kill a cup tie and give a penalty kick for everyone in the stadium knows it's not a penalty, and for it to be replayed on the big screens in the stadium as we're kicking off, and for the referee to run about telling my players I've got that wrong.
He said that?
He said to my players. So where is the motivation from
the referee said to your players he's got that wrong?
To 4 or 5 of them. I've got it wrong, and I don't just ask one, because we all know players to managers tell a little pokey now and again. We are talking about he's running about, saying to my skipper, saying to my midfield players, saying to my striker, I got it wrong. It's not a penalty.
Never been shy, has he? The Stevenage boss Steve Evans there. Other scores in the Women's FA Cup: Birmingham won 1-0 at Everton. Chelsea held on to beat Liverpool 3-2. You can find all of the scores today on the BBC Sport website. When we're done here at the racecourse, it'll be time for 6:06. The lines are open now. 08085 909 693 to speak to Chris Sutton and Wrexham's Robbie Savage. Hi, Rob.
How are you, Steve?
I'm great. I'm absolutely loving being in this stadium, Robbie. I've got to tell you that the racecourse is absolutely great, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, I used to get the bus from my house. It was 20 pence at the time to go and watch Wrexham. Used to stand on the Cop now where all that work's being done. Fantastic stadium, you know, Ryan Reynolds there, and I know how he feels as an owner of a football club. You know, you kick every ball, the emotions, but you can't affect anything that happens on the pitch. It's down to your team. And you know what I will say, after the blow of conceding so early, losing 2 centre-halves after 10 minutes, and then to perform like they have, you know, I don't think we should be surprised, Steve, about non-league. You know, these players are full-time, you know, they're fit, you know, they have 2 games a week, you know, so the fitness levels, you know, nobody should be surprised of how good the quality is in non-league, not just in the National League, but even further down. It's fantastic, some fantastic players. You know, but it's there to play for. I agree with, you know, the guys in commentary. No penalties. I think they're spot on, just outside. Mullins being a threat. But it's been a terrific spectacle for non-league, and Sheffield United doing a professional job at the minute.
You know how I know it's been a good game, other than the fact that I'm literally standing here watching it? The building site to the left-hand side that you've just mentioned, I've seen at least 3 or 4 people in day-glow jackets and hard hat doing absolutely no work and just watching the match.
Yeah, it is good. You just want that one opportunity, to fall to Ollie Palmer or Mullin, but they can be proud of their performance so far. It's probably the first time, well, other than going to Coventry, that Wrexham go into a game as underdogs. Everybody wants to beat them in the National League because of what they're doing at the football club. There's a lot of jealousy, a lot of envy of Wrexham, but you've got to say Phil Parkinson is doing a remarkable job, top of the National League. It's there to play for. I followed Wrexham to when they got to the quarter-final. Do you remember when they lost to Chesterfield?
97, yeah.
Yeah, and then Chesterfield lost to Old Trafford when the goal was over the line. Do you remember, against Middlesbrough?
I do remember. It was 3-3 that one, Robbie. It was 3-3.
3-3, that's right.
Went to a replay.
Yeah, so Wrexham all there to play for. Liverpool going out. What's happening there? Mitoma, what a player he is. And we got to mention Sean Dyche. Chris's mate. If he gets the Everton job, I hope he does. Lots of people saying that, what's the process, Bielsa or Dyche? It looks like Dyche is going to get it, and I'm delighted for a man who took Burnley to 7th. And who knows, people hammer his football, but I tell you what, getting Burnley to 7th in the Premier League, scoring a goal when he was Burnley manager at Goodison, 24 passes, given the right budget, given the right type of player, he might want to play an expansive style of football. So I think if he gets the job, it's a great appointment, Steve.
And what about Paul Mullin in a Wales shirt, Robbie? He said he qualifies. He's not been picked yet. You've been talking about the quality that exists below the league structure. Does he deserve a go?
Oh, does he deserve a go in a Welsh shirt? That's a great question. It's a great question. Listen, scored all those goals for Cambridge. There are lots of eyebrows raised when he signed for Wrexham, but the project they've got, why not? And he's 27 goals this season. Not just yet, I don't think. Listen, I might be being a bit harsh. I remember playing for Wales, and we had I think it was Gary Lloyd, Steve, when I played for Wales, we played in non-league. I think he was the last player to play for Wales from non-league. I might be wrong, but listen, 08285 909 693. Looking forward to the second half, Steve.
Robbie, thank you very much. Yeah, that is the number to call. 08085 909 693. Book your call in for 606. I mean, Jamie Vardy didn't get out of non-league football until he was 25, I think. Paul Mullin's already been in the league structure, but maybe it's time for him to get international recognition. He said he's ready, he said he's waiting, but he's going to be focused far more on the second half here at the racecourse ground. The cheers behind me lets you know that the Wrexham players in their red shirts, white shorts and white socks have retaken the field. Those from Sheffield United already out there. Looks like there's going to be a change for Paul Heckingbottom's side. We have a great 45 minutes in front of us, and Stephen Kelly is with Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Steve. Yes, so the change, Max Lowe, who's going to come on. He's played in the Premier League for Sheffield United, and he will take the place of James McAtee, one of the two young players on loan from Manchester City in that midfield. So Tommy Doyle stays on the field. Max Lowe will come on, former Derby, former Aberdeen player. He was on loan at Nottingham Forest last season as they won promotion to the Premier League. He played 20 league games for Forest on their way up. So a good player to come on as Sheffield United look to steady things, look to consolidate and build upon the lead that they received very early in the game. And yes, they had other chances, but they weren't able to build on that lead. And the longer that remained the case, Wrexham have grown in confidence, and so much so that they finished the first half, the non-league team, with the momentum. Right from the kick-off, Ben Tozer, who's pumped up a little bit too much, hits across field pass, and he puts it out of play for a Sheffield United throw. But then they immediately return possession to Wrexham. And it's just had that feel about it, Stephen Kelly. This is not a normal league game. This is a cup game in every aspect.
Oh, every single part of this game is screaming out an FA Cup game. The energy levels, the atmosphere, I know there's so much around this club at the moment with everything else that's going on in the background, but they just seem to have taken to this game and are really like driving on. Hopefully they can continue on the same way in the second half, because if they do, Sheffield United have got a real tough game for these 45 minutes.
Max Lowe has come on to play left wing back. Ben Osborne has moved into the middle of the midfield. Here's Ollie McBurney, whose goal separates the teams, gets to the byline down the right hand side, up against Tozer, who gets the better of him, and then Tozer clears it away up towards the halfway line to the impressive Ollie Palmer, and now they launch it towards Paul Mullen, who's bundled into from behind by Basham, and the referee says that is a free kick and they've taken it quickly. Wrexham with possession with Elliot Lee, who had a wonderful shot towards the end of the first half, and felt very, sympathetic for him because he hit it so well, and were it not for several defenders in the way, I mean, if that had gone through to the goalkeeper, it would have caused huge problems for Adam Davis. He's been playing well, Elliot Lee. Palmer here tried to leave it, hoping the ball would run into Paul Mullen's path, but it's been intercepted. Comes back to Palmer once again, and then Basham on the edge of the penalty area for Sheffield United, clears it away. Looks like Wrexham are picking up where they left off.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, balls into Palmer, just sticking. His first touch has been wonderful. The whole first half and second half was just continuing in that vein. His link-up play has been brilliant. He's got a real eye for passing the ball through as well, and we're going through now.
Here comes James Jones, tries to get into the penalty area. Osborne's done really well. He had to be so careful, he couldn't lunge in. They were inside the box, but he whips the ball away from James Jones, and Sheffield United should be able to clear. It's gone out of play down by the corner flag. It's gone out of the goal kick side of the corner flag, and that is a goal kick to the visitors, and the noise feels louder than ever under ever darkening skies now. There was plenty of daylight in the air. In fact, there was beaming sunshine right at kickoff, but now it has the night game feel about it, and the floodlights seem to have gained a little bit of power after seeming so weak in the first half, and compared to the contrasting dark skies, they're now illuminating the pitch of green grass. Long ball played by the goalkeeper up over the halfway line. It's controlled by Bogle, looked to come off his hand. Play on, says the referee. McFadden has it anyway for Wrexham. This is Palmer, a little drag back to himself. Little 1-2 with McFadden again. Then he gives it to McFadden for a second time in the move, and his legs are taken out from under him by Ahmed Hodage, and that is going to be a free kick to Wrexham inside the Sheffield United half.
Palmer again, like he just drops deep this time, turns 1-2, and then the pass he finds whips it in between a really narrow gap, and they're off again. What a position he gets himself into.
Nice play by Elliot Lee. He's got to get it back here on the edge of the penalty area. Corner angle, twisting, turning, trying to find some room. Beats one defender, but can't get it away from the next one. Now, an urge to shoot, and from a long way out, it's been struck in by Young. Can they follow up? 3 players in there. They're trying to pull the trigger. Now in by James Jones with the latest effort to shoot, and they just can't get it in. Talk about pinball inside the 6-yard box, and nobody could pull the trigger cleanly, and somehow Sheffield United survived. That's the nearest Wrexham have been to a goal.
Oh, it was just evading every Wrexham player in the box. It was bouncing around, no one could get fun, and then Jones gets one. I think it's Egan, flicks his foot and just puts it wide. So unlucky not to drop someone, but there was great chances in that.
Throw-in comes from Tozer. Good distance on it into the penalty area. Wrexham goes down. It's into the back of the net. Mullen runs to celebrate. James Jones has put it in. He had a chance a moment ago that he wasn't able to finish, but James Jones makes it Wrexham 1, Sheffield United 1. Sheffield United of the Championship scored early in the first half, but now Wrexham of non-league have scored early in the second, and a sprinkle of FA Cup magic has illuminated. Look at these scenes, the racecourse ground. They've been playing football here 158 years, since the days of Abraham Lincoln was president in America. I don't think they've ever seen scenes like that.
The
Wow!
place is absolutely lifted off in here. Again, it's a Tozer throw into the box, and Jones just swivels really quickly and just drops into that bottom corner. Sheffield don't clear our lines, and like I said, it's always that first contact. Once it meets that first man, it drops and it causes carnage, and Tozer's the first thing to react. What a finish it is from Jones, bringing it to the corner. But the atmosphere, the place has gone wild.
Wild scenes, wild is the word. The raw outpouring of emotion that met that goal They come now with expectancy. They've seen their team win so much. But today's opponents are different. Here they come again, Wrexham. Mullen plays it in front of Palmer, held up on the edge of the penalty area. Sheffield United need to try and get it together. Someone's left off a pyrotechnic. There's smell of sulphur in the air. There's smoke too. It feels a battleground as Max Lowe tries to bring it forward for Sheffield United, but too much of a pass. And Jemison, the best he can do is stretch to the byline and put it out for a throw into Wrexham. Right full back position for them. Wrexham 1, Sheffield United 1, and the Hollywood scriptwriters have just provided the first plot twist. Sheffield United led, of course they should, 71 league places ahead, but now, maybe, just maybe, the fairy tale is underway.
They've been well worth it, absolutely well worth it, Wrexham. Palmer has been fantastic the whole game so far. His link up play, his build up, his controlling the ball, bringing them up the pitch, and then Mullen's been such a threat in behind. But what's been great is the midfield is willing to run forward and get into those boxes. Lee, Jones, they've scored a goal now, but they've been really creative and looking to join in with those front men.
The goal came 5 minutes after the restart for the second half, and all of a sudden the players of Sheffield United feel a long way from home here in North Wales in this incredible atmosphere. Here's McBurney, scorer of the game's opening goal, out to the right hand side. Ahmedhodzic tries to cross it in. It's blocked by McFadden, who played a good part of the build-up, and here comes Mullen again, sprinting after a through ball. Good goalkeeping as Adam Davis comes well outside of his penalty area, and Trestall in yellow, the Sheffield United goalkeeper, clears it away. Basham swivels on the halfway line, lays it off to Ben Osborne. Now Ollie Norwood forced to retreat back to Ahmedhodzic once again. Wrexham 1, Sheffield United 1 on the big scoreboard, and there'll be a few episodes of the Disney TV show just about those opening minutes of the second half, I can tell you. Luke Young, calming ball, back to Tom O'Connor. They've got confidence oozing through the veins now, absolutely coursing through for Wrexham.
This is brilliant again from Palmer. He brings it down, switches the play. Mullen's now on the charge down the line, putting them under pressure. Another throw in here. The scenes.
Ahmedhodzic, who's a cultured, classy young defender, but he hesitated for a split second, and Mullen saw his chance there, and breathing down his neck, hounding the young defender and forcing him to put it out for a throw. It's all Wrexham at the moment. They've got another of these big Ben Tozer throws, and he will lean back as far as he can up against the edge of the advertising board. In fact, he's going to run along the sideline a little bit. The referee is telling him, hang on, make sure you take this from the right place. He was getting ready in the wrong location. He's backside against the railings. Now he springs forward, arches the back, plummels it in, and headed out just on the edge. Return shot comes in with plenty of interest, but it's off target. And what an attempt that almost was. It was Young, was it? No, it wasn't. It was Elliot Lee. Elliot Lee, plenty of power, just off target.
He hit one in the first half. This one was absolutely venomous. He comes onto it, absolutely smashes it. A rifles past out the far post, evades the goal. Great strike from him again, just off target.
Wrexham's 5th game of this FA Cup run, and they are hoping that the real fun is only beginning. 1-1 against the team second to the championship. Now, problem on the edge of the penalty area. Clearwood allowed it to bounce, but he knew what he was doing, and he was able to nod it in the second attempt back to the goalkeeper. It's a time now for some calm heads amongst the bedlam that is the atmosphere of the racecourse ground here. 5 live on the World Service from the BBC. FA Cup 4th round. There's a reason the television cameras have chosen this one for this plum kick-off time, this 4:30 start on a Sunday afternoon, because they knew there was the chance of some fireworks. And with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney here, the owners of Wrexham, so far it's living up to the hype and then some. 1-1, and having come from behind too, as all great Hollywood stories happen. You have to have the little upset first, then the big comeback for the glory. Here come Wrexham into the penalty area, down the left-hand side, but unable to take the ball with them was Ollie Palmer. Sheffield United can't get it away. I mean, talk about a change in mood here. They can't put 2 passes together now. The championship side. Here's a chance to cross from the left-hand side. Mullen into the penalty. Oh, bit disappointing touch. Just as he was about to hit the shot, it seemed to stumble off his toe, and then he lost all composure, and Sheffield United are able to clear it away. And there's a foul on Jemison and a free kick to the visitors. And whoa, we'll try and get some oxygen into the lungs. This is all taken off. Absolute blue touch paper lit.
The initial play from Mullen, he drives inside and he opens up, and I don't think there's any need for that extra touch. I think he can hit it then. He's in space, he's in the box, he's a clear sighted goal, but he opts for an extra touch and he just evades him, gets away. I think Egan is able to then clear it, but the pressure they're putting on United are not able to clear their lines. They can't get close to them. Every time they turn the ball over, Wrexham are pressurising and making them make mistakes.
James Jones, the goal scorer, was one of the players who came on for the injured central defenders right at the start of the game, so it was never the plan for him to be on the pitch, and maybe a stroke of fate that he's popped up with a goal. He's got 3 in the National League this season. He scored against Bromley 2 weeks ago. That's a moment he's not going to forget for the rest of his career. He's some famous Wrexham goals in the FA Cup. Mickey Thomas is here today, that famous goal from him in 1992, but now entering the lexicon, famous Wrexham FA Cup goals, the name of James Jones, and it is a goal that is electrified this FA Cup tie. Sheffield United are going to make a change, and it's going to be a double swap. They are bringing on 2 attacking players. Ilman Ndiaye, who's been the top scorer, played at the World Cup for Senegal, played against England in that last 16 game. He comes on, and so too Billy Sharp. Billy Sharp, who's not scored quite as many goals this season, but over the years 127 times he's found at the back of the net. So 2 attacking players on, and it just shows that Paul Heckingbottom realises his team need a bit of a boost here. Ollie McBurney making his first start since November, would never have been expected to get long beyond the hour mark, and this might have been a preordained change for him. But Sheffield United fans will be very pleased that Ndiaye is on, because there's a lot of buzz about this kid. 10 goals, 9 assists this season.
Yeah, sharp, electric pace. Him and Jefferson will form a good attacking threat against him, and then Sharp with his wildness, he's still got goals in him. I know he's not been in great form this season, but he's a player that knows where the back of the net is, and just offers a different threat for United going forward now, and gives Wrexham something to worry about in their own third.
Wrexham 1, Sheffield United 1. Wrexham have had 15 shots now in this game. That's the mood that they're in. McFadden has it on the halfway line. Former Sheffield United player gives it back to Luke Young, the captain, now on the halfway line. Tom O'Connor. They're always looking for that direct ball to Paul Mullen, and this one's cut out by John Egan. But any time that there's any sort of gap at all, they'll try and feed it into the number 10, the top scorer, he's lethal. He's just danger written all over him.
His movement though, see, he pulls off the shoulder, tries to get behind, and they're not just firing balls forward, no coffee, they're trying to whip it between lines, actual real accurate passes.
Wrexham fans clapping their hands in unison, up on their feet chanting songs. There's Elliot Lee jumps and wins a header, away by John Egan at the back, but can't pick out a teammate. Every time that Sheffield United try to clear it away here, they're just returning the ball to Wrexham, and all the action happening away to our right hand side. The end that the Championship side are defending. It's all over at Dundee United. Dundee United against Celtic today. Here's Roddy Forsyth.
No Hollywood twist here, but Celtic's streaming service continues. They scored twice after the interval. A Jota header from the tightest of angles, and a Moy penalty kick after Freeman had handled on the edge of the box. And United are still level with 3 teams at the bottom of the table. Celtic back to 9 points ahead of Rangers. Dundee United 0, Celtic 2.
Here's Mullen, midway inside the Sheffield United half. He's done well to shrug off a challenge, waits for the support to arrive from McFadden, gives it back to Mullen, crossing position on the left-hand side, but he gives it in low, and it's cleared out for a throw, and Tozer's on his way over again already. There's a red balloon bobbling on the halfway line. The tinfoil FA Cup bang on the halfway line on the far side has been shaken rigorously from side to side. And look at the Sheffield United defenders fearfully retreating back deep inside their penalty area as Tozer prepares to launch this in. The wind appears to have picked up, just ruffling the pages in front of us. Here comes Tozer, arches his back, launches another huge gargantuan throw. It's headed back out to him on the edge of the penalty area, left hand side, tries to manoeuvre away from Norwood, chance for Tozer, shoots the shot, and it deflects out for a corner. And Wrexham are keeping up this pressure as they go in seek of a goal to lead this cup tie for the first time.
Listen, the amount of times the ball has come back to Tozer from those throw-ins as well, and this time he gets to set himself up, decides to take the man on at the edge of the box, gets a bit of space, to be fair, hits a really decent shot that takes a deflection and goes out for the corner.
So they're all in there. big huddle of players between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box as the in-swinger comes in. It was missed by the defender. It's into the back of the net by Tom O'Connor. You cannot make this up. Real, genuine, raw FA Cup magic as non-league Wrexham from 1-0 down inside the opening 60 seconds have turned this around now to lead 2-1. Tom O'Connor, Wrexham 2, Sheffield United 1. Hollywood would reject it as simply unbelievable.
It's again another great set play in, whipped in with loads of pace, dropped in the air. Sheffield United just don't clear lines, and Tom O'Connor's the first to react, and he just rifles into the back of the net from about close range, 6-7 yards out. But the place again, it's just lifted. It's an amazing atmosphere, and it's nothing more than they deserve. They've been on top, they've been the better side this half. They've been pressing, they've been pushing, they've been so aggressive in everything they've done. Well deserved, Wrexham.
So many times over the years I've been at giant killings in the FA Cup, and teams nick goals and they scrape their way through and they cause the upset. This is nothing like this. Wrexham are dominating. That goal was coming.
Oh, absolutely. From the last 15-20 minutes, the first half till now, Wrexham have been the dominant side. They've been pushing, they've been probing, they've been causing problems. Let's see if Sheffield United have reaction now. But so far, every time they've had the ball, they've been under pressure, they've given away, they've come to it. Steve Crossman asked the question, how have Sheffield United dealt with the atmosphere, dealt with the event? At the moment, they're not dealing with it at all.
They're not. They are rattled. Sheffield United, who are having a very good season, second in the Championship, looking so good for a return to the Premier League next season. But this afternoon in North Wales, they have come up against something that is more than the sum of its parts. They are taking on more than just 11 men in red. There is a story, there is a narrative, there is a feeling of almost destiny about Wrexham here in this game. On this day of all days, Bogle makes a good interception on the edge of the penalty area. Free kick to Sheffield United for a foul on Billy Sharp. Somewhere in a boardroom in Los Angeles, there's a US TV executive, and I'm picturing him with a big cigar. Let me get this straight. So they went behind, and now they're leading. Oh, excellent, great. Box office.
Print it.
Yeah, take it to the press.
No, it is. Like, you cannot write stories like this, but we're in the midst, we're watching it, you're feeling it. The atmosphere when you got here today, though, there's a sense of something amazing happening in this place. And, I hope we're not speaking too soon, we're not going too early, but, if they could see this through, they're in the ascendancy, they're playing great. If they keep up these energy levels, it's phenomenal effort from them.
Wrexham 2, Sheffield United 1. FA Cup drama on the BBC as Sheffield United try in vain again to play their way out of the back. Look at that, Elliot Lee won a slide tackle and he celebrated it like he scored a goal. I love that, the fans were up on their feet. Sheffield United can't get out of their own half at the moment.
I celebrate the second goal. I'm not a Wrexham fan. You just can't help but get drawn into it. There's something really special in the atmosphere here, and the fans have not stopped since they first blew the whistle.
No, and look, let's get this right. Sheffield United are playing the role of Goliath here. It's not that anyone doesn't like them, but this is the equivalent of they're in the Champions League and they're playing Real Madrid. If they took the lead, nobody would be supporting Real Madrid either. You've got to back the underdog in the FA Cup. Chance down the other end. Jefferson tries to shoot. Norwood with a shot blocked by Tozer. Norwood again! It's back to 2-2. That's such an important goal for Sheffield United. Ollie Norwood, he had 2 bites of the cherry. When the first was blocked, he held his nerve and left-footed. He's carefully and accurately planted it into the bottom of the net. It's back level again. That's such an important goal for Sheffield United. Back on level terms, another twist in the tail.
Yeah, against the run of play, it's the first time they really put pressure in their box. And Norwood comes in, he hits the strike from early, but the deflection comes out to him, and he's the first one to react to it. The Wrexham defenders just don't get out to the ball, they don't react to where the ball's going, and Norwood comes in and just slots into that bomb corner, sends the keeper the wrong way, and it's a really confident, comfortable finish to pass in like that, but totally against the run of play.
Which way does the pendulum swing next? Now that was a goal against the run of play, but it has made it 2-2 here. Both teams have had the lead now at different stages. All square, remember, extra time or penalties or anything like that. If it was to remain level, it would be a replay back at Bramall Lane. 2-2 for the moment, but I can't believe there aren't a few more twists to come in this tale.
No, not from what we've seen so far. Like, the first half was so entertaining. This one has started off absolutely rampantly, but it's going to be interesting to see how Sheffield United do now. If they can get into their rhythm, get past the ball, find their confidence, because their side used to dealing with physical strength. So used to teams dealing with playing week in, week out in a difficult league. So they're not adverse to getting up against teams like this on pitches like this.
He's been battling for it. Substitute has come on in the second half. That's brilliant from him. He's won the ball on the halfway line. He's veered away from 2. He's got to the edge of the penalty area. This is Njai all the way. This will be some goal if he put this in. Just wide in the top corner. That was spectacular. Ilman Njai, a lot spoken about him. That's why. Yeah, that's a glimpse of what he can do. He's picked up a whole of 10 yards inside the half, and he's just driven right at the heart of the fence. Gone on his left weaker foot, dripped past 2 or 3 players, opens up, and he hits a whipping shot that just goes past the post. But the amount of pace and precision he showed in his dribbling ability there, just to drive at them, and that's a warning shot to Wrexham. What he can do, you need to stop him running at you. 5 Live in the World Service, the racecourse ground in Wrexham. Wrexham 2, Sheffield United 2, 4 goals in a pulsating cup tie. And Wrexham have had to do it the hard way so far, going 1-0 down inside the opening minute, losing 2 of their 3 central defenders right at the start of the match. And there's still a quarter of this game to go. Jebison turning well in off the left wing, into the penalty area goes, swarm of defenders around him, and a shot sails over the top from Jayden Bogle. He cantered into the penalty area, he hit it mid-stride, he'd no composure over the shot, and it's well wide of the target. The ball ends up in the building site, away behind the goal, away to our left-hand side, where they're building the new stand as the continual improvement of this football club continues, hoping to be back in the top 4 tiers next season, and right here, right now, enjoying being in the spotlight. This is the hottest ticket in town by far. Everyone wants to. I mean, any game Wrexham play it is a sellout, but these tickets were like gold dust today. Ball cleared away by Jayden Bogle, the back, long, swirling in the wind, bounces back to the goalkeeper. Away to our left-hand side, Mark Howard. 2-2.
It's a little bit of a lull where we can actually catch our breath for a second, because the game was just tamed down a bit after that goal. But you know, the way Wrexham have played up to this point, the difference is now I think United have a different threat on the pitch. They have players that can really cause problems. Jebson has been their biggest threat so far, but Ndoye is sharp on different problems for those defenders to work about and try to figure out how to deal with them.
68 minutes on the stadium clock away to our right-hand side. Norwood has it on the edge of the penalty area. Sheffield United wearing white, playing from right to left. He's pumped it long. That was an instruction that we saw Stuart McCall give him just a few moments ago. Get it long, get it over the back down that left wing for Sheffield United, but this one doesn't find a teammate, and Wrexham are just trying to recapture the momentum they had built up now in the lead up to their second goal. The referee has been called across now. What's happening here?
So there was an incident with Tozer and Jebson. Tozer pulled him back. Jebson's turned around. I think he's kneed him in the leg in a reaction. I think the 4th official's seen that and he's going to tell him. I'm not too sure what the outcome's going to be, but you can clearly see Tozer's dragged him back, stop Jebson make his run, and there's a reaction from Jebson where he's just swung around his leg at him.
Well, no VAR, but the old-fashioned human eye has spotted something here. And 4th official, who is Scott Oldham down there, is having a word with the referee, Dean Whitehouse. Whitehouse, who was the 4th official at Old Trafford last night for Manchester United against Reading, Metropolitan Police Officer for 16 years. And they are both in consultation now, and that description that Stephen's been given us has been relayed by Scott Oldham to the referee. I mean, the 4th official's made a big deal of this coming onto the pitch. You would imagine he feels strongly about what he's seen. Yeah, it was a definite reaction to him. Like I said, the initial probably should have been a foul from Tozer. He drags him back, and Jebson's about to run through, but it's the reaction from Jebson. He turns around and swings a leg at him, I think, and that's the reaction. There he goes off. It's a red. Sheffield United are down to 10 men. Daniel Jebson sent off for an off-the-ball kick at Ben Tozer. His shirt was being pulled a little. He reacted by kicking out. Spotted in the absence of VAR by the 4th official, Scott Oldham, who informed the referee, Dean Whitestone, I told you there was going to be another twist. This is a big one. This is the EastEnders drumbeat now, you know. Join us next time for the last 20 minutes at the racecourse ground.
Honestly, Conor, this is crazy stuff, unbelievable to watch. But you're watching it as it's happening, and you can see, like, I thought that's a foul. If he sees that Tozer's giving a foul because of the definite tug on his shirt. But Jepson just spins around and swings his leg out. And for reacting like that, you just can't do it. Young player, and he was a real threat in the torn on the side of Wrexham. To get him off, you know, this could be huge.
Previously on Wrexham against Sheffield United, Ollie McBurney scored after a minute. 2 defenders taken off injured. Jones, one of those who came on as a replacement, scored the goal to make it 1-1. Tom O'Connor made it 2-1 in Wrexham's favour. Absolute bedlam of the racecourse crowd. Sheffield United through. Ollie Norwood, one of their more experienced players, drag it back to 2-2 with a goal against the run of play. And then the cliffhanger moment when a red card was shown to Daniel Jemison, and Sheffield United will now play with 10 men for the final 20 minutes of this game. You're up to date on 5 Live in the World Service. Hold on to your hats. This is going to be a huge 20 minutes now. Play will resume with a free kick. Tozer, who was the player kicked, will be the man to take the free. Sheffield United are holding a high line. Ball is played by Tozer down the channel, looking for Mullen as always. Mullen gets in front of the defender Basham. Little push on the back on Mullen, who falls off the field, but the officials are happy that that was a fair challenge. Poor clearance from Basham goes straight to Luke Young. And Wrexham trying to get it back in the penalty area, and then another flopped clearance. Egan completely skewed the shot away. I mean, there's such a bad clearance, it nearly went out for a corner back behind him. And it ends up going out for a throw-in down by the corner flag. It's as good because Tozer can launch it in. Looks like Wrexham are preparing to make a change. They'll wait until after this, though. Tozer's gone across. He's gone out of my sight of vision. He's somewhere lost down amongst the crowd in that corner flag. Photographers straining for angles. Here it comes. Tozer's delivery right in on top of the goalkeeper. He's done well to hold on to that. That's a brilliant save from Adam Davis, falling backwards onto the ground at full stretch to catch the throw in from Ben Tozer. 2-2 it remains.
Yeah, good 2 hands on it, strong from really strong, powerful. Gets in there. He's putting a lot of pressure, but to bring that down, calm it down for his team.
2-2. Here is Njai, who's looked brilliant since coming on. He's picking it up here on the halfway line. He's one of those kind of Jack Grealish players that he's got the socks low down on his calves. Runs a little old-fashioned style about him, and he nearly got on the end of a through ball from Bogle there, but well cut out. Wrexham get it up to Ollie Palmer. Holds it up with John Egan on his back. Support available from McFadzean. Infield to Luke Young. Young feels the pressure from Bogle, who tries to slide in on him, and Wrexham are forced to clear it long. Tom O'Connor, one of the goal scorers today, sends it up over the halfway line. Mullen with a flick off to Ollie Palmer, who's taken it really well inside of Egan, but then a sliding challenge from Ahmed Hodzic will slide in, and then a free kick is awarded as Elliot Lee goes in too strong. Free kick to Sheffield United, right full-back position for them. 2-2.
It's great build-up play again from Palmer and Mullen. Mullen just out to him. Palmer whips it around the corner, gets in, and it's a great sliding challenge to come in and win that, because he was truly looking, he had eyes for goals. He was trying to get a shot away. It was a long way out, but it just shows that link-up play between the two of them, little and large, has been excellent.
So the change, we'll see Sam Dolby come on, an attacking player, and he replaces Callum McFadzean, the left wing back, the former Sheffield United man. 22 appearances for the first team when he was at Bramall Lane. McFadzean will make way. Sam Dolby will come on. He turned 23 in December. He's a regular in the team, but he's almost always used as a sub. 21 league appearances this season, 20 of them have been off the bench, so he comes on and he joins the attack, and it looks like Mullen's going to sit in the sort of number 10 role with Dolby and Palmer ahead of him. And they're being brave here, Wrexham. They really are.
They've changed their shape. They've gone to a 4 at the back, I think, as well. They've got rid of the wing backs and they've put Anthony Ford right back, and one of the centre backs has gone out to left back, so they've gone for pretty much a 4-4-2 or 4-4-3-3 is what they're playing, with Mullen just in behind the front two.
2-2. Sheffield United have a throw in midway inside the Wrexham half. The visitors from the upper reaches of the Championship being made to sweat here as ball is picked up by Njai. That's a lovely pass, however anticipated by the goalkeeper. Mark Howard comes out his goal line and picks it up. And immediately as the goalkeeper got it there, the three Wrexham attackers sprung into action, spreading themselves, waiting for the distribution. Palmer picks it up initially, but just hesitated a fraction, and Egan was able to pounce and win possession back for Sheffield United once again. They've got to try and hit on the counter-attack when they can, Wrexham.
Yeah, as Howard picks up, Mullen was off on this right-hand side, and I was visions of that initial in the first half, that volley he put through to him, but he didn't pull the trigger on it.
Egan's given it away in the midfield. Mullen back to Anthony Ford at right back. His ball direct up towards Ollie Palmer, who's so careful with possession, never wastes the ball, and cleanly gave it to Luke Young there. Wrexham spraying it about with a confidence, but they're still inside their own half. Brought up to the halfway line by Tozer. Mullen, confident little layoff to James Jones, the scorer of Wrexham's first goal this afternoon. Ford now attacking down the right, sends in a cross that I don't know if it took a deflection, but it had an awkward flight to it. He'll get a second chance here as it comes back to him. Ford on the right hand side, defender right up in front of him is Max Lowe. Ford takes him on, dinks in a dangerous cross, and Egan puts it over his crossbar. No, he doesn't, it's still in play. Eventually hacked away as Sheffield United look to clear their lines. Billy Sharp goes down inside the centre circle, no free kick. Tom O'Connor has it for Wrexham. Down that channel, and they pick out Mullen again. He makes brilliant runs, Paul Mullen. He's always looking for space. Crossing position on the left. Sends it in too high, though, for Sam Dolby in the centre. And Ford's going to run out and try and keep this in play, and he's done well to win a throw-in. Wrexham on the attack. Throw on the right-hand side. Tozer time.
It's great play from Wrexham again, going on the left, switching the play, going on the right. Fullbacks now forward, still upright in the forward advanced position, keeps him in play and wins the throw in for Tozer.
One of those little blue towels is produced. He wipes the ball carefully, wipes his hands as well. Ben Tozer, this long throw expert who used to play for Newcastle. He was in their first team squad for a few years as a youngster. Wow, that's his longest one of the day, towards the back post, and it's headed over the top by O'Connor. That went more than halfway across the pitch. Huge throw.
O'Connor's headed it just the other side of the penalty spot, and he's a clear header, free contact. The pace is starting to die as it gets to that point, so you just can't get the power on he wants, but you know, it's a great chance.
If you're just joining our coverage, you've missed a belter so far. 2-2 between Wrexham of non-league and Sheffield United, hoping to be back in the Premier League next season. Clearance by Davis, the Sheffield United goalkeeper, away to our right-hand side. Header won by Tom O'Connor, who's had a very good game. A midfielder who's been forced to operate in defence for most of the match. Layoff by Dolby for Palmer, who couldn't bring it with him in his stride into the penalty area. Max Lowe will try to dribble out of defence on the left-hand side. Plays it up to Njayi. Njayi spins away from James Jones and encourages the young Bosnian defender Ahmed Hodzic to come over the halfway line, and he does with gusto, and he's got Bogle available on the right-hand side. Must be a bit of fatigue creeping in now, but hard running down there as Wrexham get defenders back behind the ball and back into defensive positions. Norwood plays it off Elliott Lee, and it's a throw into Sheffield United on the right-hand side, and it's still 2-2.
Yeah, it's hard work from Wrexham. They're shifting bodies around, getting across and trying to stop Sheffield United getting down the sides of them, but they're putting in such an effort to try and get across and close down those passing lanes.
6:06 coming up with Robbie and Chris after this. Much to discuss up and down the land. Much to discuss from this game on its own as Sheffield United tried to regain the lead in a game in which they went in front after the opening minute. But there's no cross this time. It's disappointment for Bogle. Free kick to Wrexham. The goalkeeper's going to come out of his penalty area to take it. The clock ticks on, and we are about to move into the final 10 minutes at the racecourse ground. Mark Howard takes his time, the goalkeeper. This is his fourth appearance on this cup run. He's been first choice of the club since joining from Carlisle back in July. Good distance, he sends it powerfully up over the halfway line. Looking for the tall frame of Ollie Palmer. Couldn't get a clean head on it. Knocked on by Elliott Lee. It's a good ball towards Dolby on the left-hand side. That struck an arm in the penalty area. Play on for now. Palmer! Off the crossbar! Down onto the line! And away, and it didn't go in! Lee tries to follow up. That was like the World Cup final in 1966. Where's the Russian linesman when you need one? It cannoned off the crossbar. It came down onto the goal line. The goal frame is still shaking, but it didn't go in, and it's still 2-2. brilliant attack. They might have had a penalty there as well.
It's absolutely sensational play. Palmer involved again. Ford is driving in the right now with the Palmer, but that was an unbelievable strike off the crossbar.
Cross from the right hand side by Palmer. Goalkeeper drops it, but it bounces back up for him and into his gloves. And Sheffield United look pale, look like they've seen a ghost. That was almost a third goal for Wrexham.
Palmer, when he stepped inside, he absolutely thumps the ball. It rifles off the crossbar, down and back out. You can't see when it's coming behind, when it's gone in front. It's an amazing strike from him. And again, great play though, to build the play to as well. So intricate, little pass in between, triangle edge of the box, and then they free themselves.
He's got 12 goals this season, Ollie Palmer. He's only got one in his last 10 games. He's absolutely due one. He's been arguably one of the better players on the pitch today, and that would have capped the performance. Had that gone in, it would have been one of the goals of the round, surely, if not the goal of the round.
To be honest, any player, watch this game, new player, he's given an example in how to be a hold-up centre forward today. Pretty much almost every touch has been spot on. He's set off, he's laid off, he's held his man off. It's been brilliant.
Absolutely, 9,909. They've gone for a 5 Live 909 number in their official attendance here at the racecourse ground. And if you turn it upside down, 606, which is coming up later on. Here is Anthony Ford on the right-hand side. We've got 8 minutes of normal time to play. As Ford, calming pass, sends it backwards to young Max Cleworth, who was brought on inside the opening minute of the game as a substitute. Into the defence, he's done well in the circumstances. Elliot Lee's had a very good game, and he sets up a crossing opportunity from the far side. Low ball delivered in by O'Connor, is put out for a throw, and it continues to be all Wrexham. If ever a game was to show evidence of home advantage, this feels it.
Yeah, but it's not just home advantage, it's the way they're playing. I know they're being G'd up by their fans and they're getting into an atmosphere, but the actual passing and the way they're playing between the lines and pass the ball forward has been brilliant from Wrexham at times.
Toast ready to launch another one of these long throws. Here he comes, spiralling the ball like a rocket into the penalty area. It's headed on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Sheffield United hope to get it away. Billy Sharp's pass is too far in front of Njayi, and the clearance goes all the way back to the goalkeeper away to the left-hand side. Wrexham come again. They're being so brave. They brought on the attacking substitutes. They want to win this here on the night. They don't want to go to Bramall Lane, where it'll be so much more difficult. Ball played forward by Elliot Lee. Not a great pass for once, but then he works hard to win it back again. That's brilliant. Here's Palmer, edge of the penalty area. Little ball in for Dalby. Angle is tight. Rolls it across the face of goal, and Mullen just couldn't get there. It agonisingly bobbled its way inside the 6-yard box across the face of goal, but there was no one there to finish it. And then Mullen lunges into Basham as Basham tries to clear it away, and Mullen gives away the free kick, and the 10 men of Sheffield United have this free kick midway inside their own half.
It's another bit brilliant play for Dalby again on left hand side, and he has no option but to cross it because the angle is way too tight. And he whips it across, but Mullen just can't get there. He's made a step back for the pullback, but he's whipped it across the box and he can't change his run to get onto it.
Sheffield United can't get out. They've got Njayi and Sharp up front, but they can't get the ball up to them at the moment. Here's a ball played up. Njayi controls it very well. Releases it to Bogle on the right-hand side. Billy Sharp's made his way into the penalty area. This is Sharp, just couldn't stretch to get there. That was a very good delivery. An extra half-yard of pace and he'd have been in, Billy Sharp. He's picked it up again here on the edge of the penalty area. Goes for goal from a tight angle. Comfortably saved by the goalkeeper, Mark Howard. And we're into the 5 minutes plus the extras now.
Yeah, fantastic cross into the area from Bogle. He's whipped it right across the face of the goalkeeper. Sharp, 1 or 2 years ago, probably would have got onto that. He's just lacking that little bit of pace to nip in, but it's a wonderful cross into a dangerous area.
Is there time for the big Hollywood finish at the racecourse ground? It's been such an entertaining cup tie. Sheffield United led 1-0, Wrexham led 2-1. 2-2 it stands for the moment. Very importantly, Sheffield United down to 10 men. Here comes the exciting young Njayi again, but one trick too many there, and he's been robbed of possession by Young, and here comes Mullen, rolls it in front of Dalby, into the penalty area, right-hand side, Dalby up against Basham, blows it in, Mullen! 3-2! And it had to be the top scorer in this season's FA Cup has done it again! A 5-goal thriller, and it's none
like it. The way they play, the way they go at it, and this bit of playing in the forward areas, Dalby gets it. He's looked at threat since he's been on in this right-hand area, picks it up, has one idea, comes inside his left foot, looks like he's going to shoot, pulls it back to Mullen, who's in the box. His first touch isn't great, but somehow he scrambles out his feet and it works his way into the back of the net. Unbelievable stuff we're witnessing here.
It feels like it had to be. Mullen, lethal finisher, and he seemed to take an age to get it out from between his own feet. But once he did, he wasn't going to miss from there, and Sheffield United are behind again.
Oh, he was only 7-8 yards out, but the first touch gets caught, and you're thinking he's going to miss this opportunity. Somehow he gets it out of his feet, he scruffs it into the back of the net. It's not even a clean strike, but it's in the back of the net, and the place here has gone mental.
A non-league player has now scored in the first round, the second round, the third round and the fourth round of the FA Cup. Paul Mullen. He is the first player to do that since Telford United's Colin Williams back in the 1980s. Non-league level to have a run like this in the FA Cup. It is now 7 goals for him in the competition this season, and it felt destiny that he would get on the score sheet today.
He's been brilliant. His running, his ingenuity, he's made a nuisance of himself up front. He's looked so dangerous, so confident. And you said they've scored an average 3 goals most games this competition. And listen, and again, what a way to play. Listen, they're giving the fans something to cheer about. It's not just one way here. These players on the pitch are making this an enjoyable experience for everybody in the crowd here.
I don't know, this Welcome to Wrexham show, it's too scripted. This would never happen in real life. It just, make it believable at least. As the ball goes out of play for a throw into Sheffield United, can they provide another bit of a twist in this script with 2.5 minutes of normal time to play? So difficult for Sheffield United now, playing with 10 against this wave of emotion. A stray white plastic bag bellows across the pitch. Mullen's been excellent today. Ollie Palmer too. Palmer making mincemeat of Chris Basham, who's a hardened, experienced defender, but really struggled there to get the ball away, and he's whinging to the referee now, feeling that he was fouled. You can feel the vibrations in the stand coming up through the seat we sit on, all around us. It's a rickety old stand on this side, and it's seen some drama over the years, but this feels as epic as anything that they've witnessed here before.
Honestly, I'm hard to say why I've witnessed something like this myself in footballing terms. It's just mind-blowing what's going on at this place. The atmosphere, the energy, everything about it is amazing. And this is, people talk about the magic of the FA Cup. Wrexham having companies that and brought it out on this pitch today, but their performance and the high energy levels they've been able to display throughout this game have been second to none.
90 seconds of the 90 minutes to go, and I'm sure some listeners will say, hang on, calm down. You're saying biggest moment. I remember Mickey Thomas in 1992, and yes, that was against Arsenal, but they weren't a non-league team then. Wrexham were a football league club when Mickey Thomas scored that famous goal. Nowadays they're a non-league club, and that for me makes this an even bigger moment now, as they hope to book their place in the 5th round. The draw is tomorrow. I mean, who knows where this adventure might take Wrexham next, if indeed they do hold on here. 45 seconds to go. Dalby's in. This can finish it. No, he couldn't hit it. He went guns blazing for the top corner, and Dalby's hurt himself in the process, and the crowd are holding on to the football, and Wrexham are almost there. Stephen Kelly, this has been incredible.
Unbelievable. Basham comes up, Basham's back, he tries to clear, but he gets and makes an absolute mess of it. Falls to Dalby, who's going through, and to be honest, I really fancy him. He looks so comfortable and confident on the left foot. He opens up, and I have to admit, it just bobbles up as he goes to hit it. The pitch lets him down, and he skews it wide. Looks like he's hurt himself in the process, but I thought that was going to be it.
Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. I did feel yesterday there weren't any huge shocks, and I know some lower league teams put in good performance and whatnot, but we didn't have any big scalps claimed so far in this 4th round of the FA Cup. We are on the verge of one there. They've just held up the board. Did you see how many minutes were?
7, I think it said. But
did it say 7? 7 minutes to be added on. There was a bit of a delay over the red card that was shown to Jebison. 7 minutes still to go here, maybe for the 10 men of Sheffield United to try and get back, but Wrexham are going to go for their fourth goal as Elliott Lee storming for. Where does he get the energy from? He's taken down and it's a free kick to Wrexham.
The way they played, their shape has been brilliant, and the way the two centre midfielders, the two higher ones, Lee and Jones, have been able to link in with the front men, drive forward, get into those spaces behind, and then create passing options. I think every single player on the pitch for Wrexham has been wonderful today.
You know, the FA Cup gets a bit of a bashing. People say if it's as relevant, is it as important? Look at the roll call of winners of recent years. The big teams always want to win it. And just imagine the atmosphere here at the racecourse ground. I mean, this means so much. And there is no act of fiction that would produce the time-spingling emotions that Wrexham fans are going through at the moment here. This non-league club who are about to topple a team flying high at the top of the championship, if it stays like this, out of the FA Cup. And still, Sheffield United can't get out of their own half. Jayden Bogle tackled again. Tackled this time by Dolby.
Yeah, again, another sliding tackle that sends the fans to their feet. You know, every kick, every tackle, every single thing these players have done well has been cheered on. It's very hard to say how impressive it is when you're here and what you're witnessing, but it's absolutely phenomenal to be at a stage like this in the league and this team playing this well and this confidently.
In stoppage time at the racecourse ground, 3-2. Absolute 5-goal thriller. They have done it the hard way, Wrexham, coming from 1-0 down so early in the afternoon. Ollie McBurney's opening goal for Sheffield United seems such a long time ago now. We reckon at the time maybe 2, maybe 3 Wrexham players had even touched the ball before they were getting it out of their own net. But that was just to set up the fairy tale. You always need a little bit of turmoil early in a dramatic story, something to be fought back against, and Wrexham were provided with that. They were 2-1 up, and then Sheffield United got it back to 2-2. Now Wrexham are 3-2 up again. Bogle, though, with a bit of menace, breaks in off the right wing, tries to turn back onto his right boot, skips it out to the left-hand side to pick out Koulibaly, who's come on as a substitute. He holds it up by the corner flag, sells a little dummy, rolls it back, the delivery into the middle, they head it down, and it squirts away wide of the target. It was close. It was the young defender Ahmed Hodzic, but he couldn't get it on target. And it's a goal kick to Wrexham, and they'll take as long as they possibly can over this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas Doyle, he gets the ball and he whips the ball into an area. It's such a dangerous cross. Like I said, just gets his head on it, just fires into the far post, goes past everything. It looks like Billy Sharp was pulling off the shoulder as well, try and tap it in, but he can't get onto it. But Wrexham are just going to take as long as they possibly can with this goal kick.
Every home game that Wrexham have played this season, they have won. And it is a record that they might be about to continue here on today of all days, here at the oldest club in Wales, the third oldest professional football team in the world, but they still have the capability to grab the attention, and they are in the spotlight right here, Wrexham. I mean, if we thought the hype was big coming into this game, what's it going to be like ahead of the 5th round if they get there?
They still have this set play to deal with, and they have to make sure that they pick their men up, they get organised, they don't let what happened in the first second of the game happen in the last few seconds.
Wrexham of the 5th tier hanging on. Sheffield United with the 10 men trying to force the last gasp equaliser. Here comes the delivery from Doyle. Bounce up, it's in! It's the equaliser! John Egan makes it 3-3. Sheffield United spoil the Wrexham party and surely have forced the replay back at Bramall Lane. Wrexham just couldn't hold on. The team from the 5th tier, deep in stoppage time, are dragged back to 3-3, and it's John Egan, his 3rd goal of the season. He smuggled it in at the back post from where the corner had came. Wrexham 3, 10-man Sheffield United 3.
Yeah, there's a great pace on the corner, comes in, and Wrexham again will be really disappointed that they've given away in such a fashion into the far post. He volleys it in line with the far post, almost inside the 6-yard box, so it's dropped really quick. Howard maybe should come out and try and get the but to leave him unmarked there at this stage in the game, you know, it's heartbreaking for them.
It's the first time John Egan has ever scored in the FA Cup. A stoppage time equaliser in a game that has simply seeped drama from every pore. right from the beginning. A goal inside a minute, a goal here right at the very end, and everything in between. Red cards, comebacks, both teams leading at different stages. This game has had absolutely everything, and it isn't over yet. Free kick, no, throw in, even better. Throw into Wrexham, and Tozer is ready to take it on the far side. Nobody's heading for the exits early. 3-3 at the racecourse ground. Tozer launches in the latest long throw. Good header away by Ahmedhodzic at the front post. Everyone back for Sheffield United, so there's no one to receive and to try and clear it away. Mullen runs out to the touchline, but he's happy to leave it out, knowing that Tozer will fancy another of these long throws.
It is absolutely mouth-watering stuff. Seriously, this end to a game, seen nothing like it.
We're into the 7th minute of stoppages. Tozer seemed to slip out of his hand as he sent that one in. It comes out to him. He drills it with the laces. Comes off Billy Sharp inside the penalty area. Back in by Anthony Ford. They're all still up there from the throw-in. It's a really packed penalty area as Sheffield United keep trying in vain to clear it away and keep failing to do so. Another throw to Wrexham. This one's a bit further back, but Tozer's coming across. Ford has taken it quickly anyway. Ford gets it back, tries to attack down the right wing. Cross in from James Jones, got a lot of height on it. Cleared away by John Egan, whose late goal, the 6th of this match, looks like it's going to force a replay for Sheffield United. And who thought that they'd be clinging on at the end to force the replay? There is the final whistle. The FA Cup has delivered 90 pulsating minutes that have been absolutely gripping. And will Wrexham of the 5th tier get a better chance than that? 3-2 up in stoppages, but they just couldn't seal the deal. They will feel so disappointed for now, but once they get the ice packs and the bruises and they sit in the dressing room, Stephen Kelly, they are going to be so proud of how they played today against a team 71 places ahead of them in the pyramid.
And you can look at it, you can't just say it was a gutsy, gritty performance. They were actually the better team for a majority of that game. They passed the ball better, they moved the ball better. I know there's long throws there, for instance. There's a couple of moments where they switch off for set plays and they're going to kick themselves at them. They're going to be looking back thinking, why did we do that? But for 90 minutes, they were the better team. They played the much better football and were much more creative. You know, they go to Sheffield, they should be full of confidence thinking they can get something there.